Perhaps we need some outside universal threat to make us recognize this common bound. I occasionally think how quickly our differences worldwide would vanish if we were facing an alien threat from outside this world.
Good evening and welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate you tuning us on in. Why? Because Merle is here, everybody. Yeah, I want to see you Merle the hell out of this chat room tonight, just like you would brawling on Black Friday, okay? And I'm not talking the disappointing Black Fridays the last couple of years. I want some major stuff. We got just over a week here, all right? I'm going to get into the Black Friday stuff a little bit later on because somebody's got to tune you up, America, okay? And you're going to brawl, all right? We need some serious brawling this Black Friday. Anyways, tonight, we're stepping away from ghosts and stuff. We're going to get into more aliens and supernatural. Merle's special guests from Paran Northwest are going to be here, and all of you as well, including Tim Mothman and his goatee. In the gold medal position, Race Fan taking home a silver. Laura Lobbs with a bronze medal tonight. Simon the Likeable, Dino Bravo, how you doing? Jimmy Gonzalez, Roy Boy, nice to see you. Hi, Jessica S. and Lulu Bell. Thank you for coming on in. Rat Sass, Ann Palmer, Scanman is here. Scanman will be signing autographs after the show. Light up to the left of the studio if you don't mind. To the left of the studio. Stephanie Kenny Blankenship, D. Cohen, Toe Tag, Karen in the Woo Train, Deer Slayer. Good to see you all here. Hello, Ken Lynn. How are you? And Kurt M. Nice to see you, my man. All right, let's scroll it on down. There's Luscious Jules. Luscious Jules will be signing autographs after the show as well. Light up to the right of the studio, if you don't mind. To the right of the studio. All right, there's Brown Dwarf. Here we go. This is what we need. Merle. Look at Jules here. Merle! Yeah, that's how we do it here. Dirty Filth, how you doing, buddy? And, oh, geez, double shot of Merle. Look at that. Holy cow. Love it. Jenny White Bears merling it up. There we go. Mike Arrington, nice to see you as we continue on with our roll call tonight. And, yeah, let's get it going. D. Cohen, or pardon me, D. Henderson, thank you so much for coming on in. Hello, Vanessa. How are you? Moon Freedom, nice to see you back. And where are we here? Millennium, my man. You better be in Reno. We need you in Reno with that mullet of yours. Okay, moving on here. We have in our chat room, Oob to Joe's Maine. You've got aliens. Richard Elmore, thanks for coming on in. And there he is. Stockholm, Sweden. They have a statue of him wearing number 16, just like Per Olav Brassar back in the day. Lars Janssen. He'll be starting at right wing tonight. All right, moving on. I know you love that, Lars. I know you do. Oh, man. This is a train wreck already. Just a train wreck. All right, there's some more merling. Pixie Lara with some solid merles. Android, how you doing? And Joanne, welcome back. Oh, there's Period Dot. There he is, merling it up. We're going to get him a T-shirt for that. Doug Shelby is here. The Doug Shelby has arrived, which means we can officially start this show. And Clemente 3472, welcome to SOR chat. And who else do we have here? We got Robert Lamoth and Welsh Hammer. And Forrest Louie, thank you as per usual, kicking off the super chat tonight. We very much appreciate your love, buddy. It's a great way to support what we do on this show on a nightly basis. All right, Susan Alloway, thanks for coming on in. And Lord Buckethead, how you doing? Buckethead's even merling it up, playing a little soothsayer in the background with Merle right there. Hold on. Let's start the radio side. Welcome to Spaced Out Radio tonight. It's Ghost of the Great White North on the radio side of the podcast side. Good to have you here. We're waiting for Bill WD-40 to come on in and lube us up for tonight's show. Release the Merle, people, because this is about to get wild. All right, moving on here in our roll call. Who else we got? Nina Williams and Luscious Jules again. Marty Burback, nice to see you. Hi, Mary R. And even Merle's merling himself. Look at that. Yeah, third person merling works here, by the way. Non-human, how you doing, buddy? Nice to see you, Digger Dog, Canada Chef Chris, Lawson Stout. Welcome to SOR chat. It's not Paran Northwest. This is Merle night. Merle. All right, SG Nav Spotter, good to see you. Hey, buddies, do me a favor. Throw your horns up. Let's rock. From the mountains of central British Columbia to you listening around the world, this, my friends, is Spaced Out Radio. I am your host, Dave Scott, sitting in the captain's chair of SOR headquarters. We welcome you to tonight's show on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. You can follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and on Patreon by joining the SOR Space Travelers Club. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Tonight's show is brought to you by Chive Charities. Help make the world 10% happier by visiting Chive Charities today. You can find them on our website. A power show of merling tonight as Ghost of the Great White North gets ready for the snow to fall, the ghosts to go to sleep, and the aliens to fly tonight. We're going to have a great night with them. Then in hour number 3, Steve Stockton brings in another spooky story from Among the Missing. Right after that, Courtney Marcassani will have the UFO report. Yes, it is that time of the month where we say hello to our main man, Merle. Yes, Merle from the Paranormal Road Trippers, based out of Vancouver, British Columbia, is a guy who likes to investigate anywhere along the west coast of North America. There is no ghost too big, too small, too fat, or too dead for him to not investigate. But tonight we're going to have a little bit of a different turn because Merle's good friends from the Paran Northwest out of Spokane, Washington, they've been on the show a couple of times before. But we're going to get into the high strangeness of what is going on in their areas. Yes, Wendigos, aliens, UFOs. We are in for a good one tonight. Merle, it's always good to have you back on Spaced Out Radio, my man. How you doing?
I'm doing fantastic, Dave. Looking forward to this show. Most importantly, how are you doing? Ooh, I can point with my new webcam and you can see it. Sweet.
Yes, because a camera is really important on the radio.
Agreed.
You know,
Most importantly, how's the Paran Northwest doing?
We're doing great.
Yeah.
How are you guys?
you know
Excited to
what?
be here.
You know what? We're glad that you're back. The one thing I love about you two ladies is the energy that you bring. You bring a lot of passion, a lot of understanding to these stories. And I know you have First Nations roots in both of you, and that it is something that is very close to you is the local legends and lore around Spokane. And you know, between British Columbia and that northern part of Washington where you guys are, I mean, we have a lot of similarities between our areas. There's Sasquatch. There's a lot of dogman sightings, UFO sightings. There's a lot of ghosts because of the history of the Gold Rush Trail and the surrounding mining areas that built off of that. I mean, it's absolutely incredible to see how similar our areas are. We both take First Nations legends and lore and stories very seriously, which I think, in my opinion, if science that is looking into this paid more attention to what First Nations legends were saying, I think we'd be a hell of a lot closer to a lot of answers with the
You're right.
technology we have. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Well, first of all, thank you guys for having
Yeah.
us back on here. This is
Thank
our
you.
favorite to do. But yeah, it totally does.
I think so too.
Yeah.
If they would just maybe listen to us, they would probably have a little bit more insight as to what's going on around them.
I would agree. And tonight we're bringing you on because the last couple times we brought you on, we were not talking anything to do with ghosts. I mean, anything to do with UFOs or
Mhm.
anything strange. It was more about the hauntings and the history around the beautiful little city of Spokane, Washington, tucked right into the mountains there of eastern Washington State and Idaho, where you could go get yourself some good high quality potatoes there. But
Yeah.
let's learn about the UFO side here. I mean, how much do you guys go by what you know about UFOs in your investigations?
I feel like Shayla's more of the research person of this. I am doing a little bit more research on it. But I feel like I am the more out of both of us. Sorry about that. I am the more experiencer. She's experienced it as well, but I feel like when I do the GANS field, which is the sensory deprivation technique that I use, how I communicate with the ETs and the aliens, that's kind of like where I'm at. But I feel like she knows a little bit more than I do. I'm trying to kind of study up. So I guess that's where we lay with that.
Well, let's start off with Shayla here. Shayla, you love everything to do with the paranormal and supernatural here. So, what made you, or what happened with your first UFO sighting? Why do you believe?
Well, I'll tell you. So it started out kind of with our grandmother, as many of these things do. She was a medicine woman, and so she was very connected to all of these things that we talk about. She's the one who told us the stories and all of that. And she would tell us that these ETs would come into her house at night and mess with her television. And so I remember going over there and she was telling us the story, and I was like looking at Cheyenne like, there's no way. Like, she's no way. And my first experience, it wasn't my first UFO sighting, but I truly believe this was my first alien experience. Was later that night. I come home from her house and I was asleep in the middle of the night, and she had specifically told me that they would come in and turn on her TV in the middle of the night. And that night it happened to me after I left her house, and I was like, what? Middle of the night, the TV turns on at full volume, and I honestly thought someone was in the house, like somebody broke in. And I was like, oh my gosh. I was so scared to go downstairs because I was like, there's somebody in my living room. And it was the weirdest thing. As soon as I came down, it's like a static electricity feeling. It's different than spirits.
It's a high frequency you can feel in the air. Mm-hmm.
And that was like my first like real encounter to where I was like, okay, something's going on. This isn't, a bunch of baloney. This is like really happening. And so that's when we kind of started doing research into it. And then we got into doing the CE5. And that is when we both had our first sighting of like a craft.
Yeah.
What did it mean to you to have that sighting?
I was so scared. Honestly, I was so scared. I was like, is this really happening? I mean, it was just bizarre. It was just this really bright light on the horizon in the middle of one of the darkest fields I've ever been in, just sitting there in the middle of nowhere on like a hot summer's day. and we could hear things in the bushes and like these clicking sounds, and it was just really odd.
And the light was like pulsating, like it would go on and off, you know. So we tried to, of course, being paranormal investigators, you have to debunk it first. Just try and like logically put out all these things that could be it, you know. And there was no trains nearby. I mean, you would be able to hear it if it was that close. Nothing was happening. So I mean, that we were doing the CE5 during that time too, so it all aligned up with the ETs.
It's quite a change in energy, isn't it?
Oh yeah.
100%.
Oh yeah.
I love see, Merle doesn't really understand this. He's starting to learn. Okay. Merlicious is starting to learn. Okay.
Delicious.
Merlicious. Okay. And what I mean by that is ghosts are very heavy. Spirits are very heavy. They draw off your energy, and everybody I talk to, Merle included, you know, when you're done a paranormal investigation, your shoulders feel heavy, you feel tired, you feel lethargic, you feel sometimes the next day, I don't know how you feel, I feel completely hungover. That I've just put all of this into the night previous. Whereas with the extraterrestrials and the UFOs, it's like being in downtown Las Vegas at the greatest street party that's ever happened. The energy is just like, woo, let's go. You know, let's make this happen and everything. Did you notice that too, Shayla?
Yeah, it is. I don't know if it's because it's one of my biggest like fears, or it used to be, but yeah, the energy's totally different feeling. Yeah. I
Yeah.
can't put it into words.
How about you, Cheyenne?
100%. You feel the sinking feeling in your gut, kind of a feeling for me. That's how I experience it. And you can just feel it, like the air around you is just charged differently.
See, Dave, I guess for me, it was the summer of aliens, because we were poking around the aliens up in your neck of the woods, Dave, and then I scurried down to Spokane and did the alien thing down there. And I can't process the feeling, because I understand what you guys are saying and how it makes you feel. Like, Dave, when we had that issue in the woods.
What issue? What issue?
Well, you know, you know, um, I couldn't process it, because I'm you're right. I'm used to the ghosts. I'm used to the heaviness. I'm used to the stress and the drama of ghosts. And then in Spokane, when we did the CE5, actually no, stop. The night before, when we were investigating their house, Cheyenne, you had, actually no, or was it Shayla, when we were in your basement and you're like, "Oh man, they're coming in." And you were referring to aliens. When it was when Cheyenne and I were sitting on the floor by
Yeah.
that bed frame.
Yeah.
Yeah. Was that when I was under for the what was it?
Estes.
Is that what it? Yeah, I was doing the
Yeah.
Estes. Yeah. Yeah, that was that was weird. I don't know if it's because we like test the limits with a lot of this equipment and do these different experiments, but we're finding like even when we go out to hunt for ghosts, like the aliens just show up.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And like watching you guys or Cheyenne do the CE5, I was like right into it when you were doing it, and that, I guess in hindsight, I did experience kind of feeling watched from the woods from when we were out at that location, and kind of like just a whole weird vibe of we're 100% not alone. But I couldn't pinpoint what it is, because in my head I'm like, well, it's not a ghost. And for me, I'm like, alien, but of course that's what we're going for, because I'm a skeptic guy with the aliens. And you know what? We experienced aliens. Say it,
Merle,
Dave. You heard it.
For you on our YouTube site, can you give us the skeptic pose? You know, because I mean, we all gotta.
Is it this one?
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
there's a skeptic pose.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate that. So,
Anytime,
for
man.
our radio side, the skeptic pose in the paranormal, every team allegedly has to have a skeptic, a researcher. And if you go on every one of their websites, they're all posed the same, standing there looking off into the distance with a serious look on their face and their arms crossed. It's the
I
same pose for every website. It's hilarious.
I think I have resting serious face, and I'm trying to shake that. The
No, we like
constant skeptic.
Okay, but the fact is, okay, Merle, for you, you were having a hell of a hard time accepting the whole UFO and alien thing. And you and I have talked privately, and I don't know whether I should mention this or not because I don't mean this to insult you or embarrass you, but
Here we
but
go.
the topic freaks you out a little bit.
It does because I can't control it. Ghosts, I feel I can control and leave the environment. But with aliens, from the amount of people we've talked, dude, I've been doing this show with you since 2015, and the amount of people we've talked to about aliens, extraterrestrials, and UFOs, you just can't leave them alone. Once they're onto you, man, they're onto you, and they pop out when you're doing ghost hunts. They pop out when you're doing Sasquatch stuff. And I that's something that would, I think, bother me in a sense, but maybe it would also be really cool if I experienced that. Then I'd be one of those alien guys.
So, Shayla, for you, as you have developed your own CE5, how did you do it?
when we did the C5. So it's well, I think we've kind of mentioned this to you before. It's the app that basically walks you through the protocols from Dr. Stephen Greer. And you basically get a group together, you go out away from everything and just kind of sit in a circle and you just go through the protocols. You do the meditation, you play the tones, and then you just sit and watch. And I mean, we've done it and it's either been a hit or a miss.
Yeah. And you have to make sure that who you're with is serious about it, because if they're not serious, it's not safe and appropriate for the ETs to show up. Chances are it's not going to happen. We've learned that from firsthand.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? Here's the big thing about CE5. We're going to give you the Kmart version of it here. You don't need to pay for an app. You
Right.
don't need to spend $3,500 on visiting Stephen Greer in one of his retreats.
Yeah.
Okay, that he charges people. Here's what you do. You go outside with a bunch of like-minded friends. You clear your energy, you have a meditation. You clear everything, that you're not worried about your grocery list or that argument you had with your child or your spouse before, or what kind of walls what color you're going to paint your walls you have, or the stress you have at your daytime job. Okay. What you're going to do is you are going to go out there with a clear conscious, clear mind. And then you're going to let your eyes focus, because your eyes are always going to peer up to one specific area. Okay, you can look all around the sky you want, but your eyes are going to keep popping to one specific area. And then you start just saying, out of peace, love, and light, can you show us where you are? And you repeat it and repeat it and repeat it. And it's something that you have to do and make it. And I'm sure you, Para Northwest, you guys will agree with me on this. It's not a 10-minute project. It's not like, oh, after 8 minutes, well, that's boring. That didn't work. Sometimes it takes half an hour. Sometimes it takes an hour, 2 hours. Sometimes it doesn't happen at all. But as long as you keep an open heart, open soul, and keep the energy positive, they show up.
Yeah.
I'll be honest. When we were doing that, I did not admit this when I was there. I was really apprehensive because I had the big what if in my head. Like, what if? I guess that's why we're there, is for the what if. But again, it comes down to that control thing. What if these guys come down and they come in front of us, or we actually make contact? What happens then? So,
Well, I mean, that's why if you're putting out the proper intentions, Merle,
Mhm.
that's why you have control of it. Okay, like like a lot of people will, and I see it all the time in our chat room, where people will be like, "I don't care what it is, good or bad. I just need to have an experience for me to tell me whether or not it's real." Well, if you want to get anal probed, and yeah, I'll say that everybody laughs when you say that, but if you want bad stuff to happen to you, okay, you would open the door to everything. But if you are concentrating on, excuse me, on trying to contact the good guys, take some time. And they're not going to bring their ship right over top of your head, over like 10 feet over your head. They're going to give you what they feel you can handle.
that makes sense.
And that's why you want the good guys. You don't want to be calling in just anybody, because if you get, Roderick the Reptilian, who has a salty taste for human flesh, call in anybody, you could get him. Right? You don't want that. You don't
I
want
thought it was a really cool experience. Like I had 100% trust in them to like do this whole thing, and I'd do it again. When are we doing it again, guys?
Anytime you want.
Yeah.
Excellent. Okay. But what really, like, during our alien encounter, our alien interactions, I was really, really intrigued when you went into the Gainesfield, um, because just Cheyenne, like, for the listeners and the viewers, we did a video of me basically just doing a ride along with the Paran Northwest, observing how they do the CE5 and then the Gansfield, and watching Cheyenne communicate to various types of aliens and seeing them in her head, like blew my mind, because like I believe everything they say because they're very trustworthy and like super respectable investigators,
Thank you.
and it was just super intriguing. That's something I think when I was there, I'm like, I need to do this next time and see if I can have that communication, or as Dave says, like the high strangeness interactions with these extraterrestrials. I would do it.
Yeah, it's Cheyenne. It only took her maybe once or twice to like start practicing that. And you know what's funny? I don't even think that experiment is supposed to be used for that reason.
It's all it's supposed to be doing is just connecting you to whatever wants to come and talk.
We've never had anything other than aliens,
Yeah.
so
It's very hard. Like now that I'm doing it, the first time that the paranormal road trippers came, we investigated the house, and we tried to do the Gansfield up in the attic. I had a really hard time keeping the aliens away, or like keeping them at bay. But yeah, come
It's
through.
wild.
Yep.
Dave, you'd love it. You'd love to. You would be
I wanna
right
go.
at home.
I want to go. I mean, I'm always up for trying to contact. I'm always up for trying to see what is going on. I mean, I've had enough close encounters over the years to press my luck a little bit.
Hmm.
I have to build up my courage. I do. I want to see that landing on the ground. I've now had 2 landings on the ground, and I haven't walked up to either of them. And I'm getting a little pissed off about this because I want to do it. I totally want to do it. And if you don't want to do it, well, then you're a lot safer and saner than I am. That's for sure.
Get it, Dave.
I'm going to get you guys to hold on right there. We are going to go to break here at the bottom of the hour. From Paran Northwest, we have Shayla and Cheyenne. And, of course, from the Paranormal Road Troopers, my main man, Merle, who comes in each and every month to talk about all things paranormal, supernatural, and around the board. And when we return on Spaced Out Radio, more UFO talk, more alien contact. What have these ladies seen? What are they hoping to see? How often does Shayla brush her teeth? Because they're really white on camera. We'll be back with those hard answers when we return on Spaced Out Radio. All right, we're clear.
All right.
Joe has a message for you, Merle. Even though he's watching on his phone,
Yep.
he swears the lady picture above you, her head keeps turning.
Which one, Lady A or Lady B? Middle?
The one closest, if you look on your camera, the one that's would be over your left-hand shoulder, not the one your hat is touching, the one beside it.
I bought her in Spokane.
I was gonna
Yeah.
say, yeah.
He
Yep.
said he swears he's seen the head move several times during the show already.
You know what's funny, Joe, is when I'm laying on my couch watching my stories, sometimes that photo creeps me out because her eyes look like they change, or she looks like she's not dead.
Ooh.
And it was the one in the middle that worried me before, but there's a couple people that have said that it's that one right there, yeah, is the one that creeps people out.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Oof.
So
You got a
That's-
collect
I do.
going on. Yeah, we love that.
And I have 3 other ones. They're just on my wall. You can't see. What a weird place, eh? People come into my house and they're like, "What are you doing?" Welcome to my Victorian lair.
Yeah.
Yes. Destination dead.
Yeah.
Great Tavius throwing up a Merle right there.
I'll have a
Yeah.
good Merle.
He only does it when his mustache is at peak performance.
I could see that.
Driftwood, how you doing?
I'm gonna adjust my my camera, Dave.
Of course you are.
Loving the beard.
You like that?
Yeah, I think it looks really good.
You know what's really cool? Besides the beard, check out my toque. Right there.
Oh, yes. How
Pixie
cool.
Laura in our chat room knitted this for me and gave it to us at our Vegas party. And I have no idea where she found this awesome patch, but it's like total Pacific Coast colors. And so I'm thinking she was playing on that. And I just love this toque. It is so warm and so comfortable. And I took it out in the forest with me the other day, and I actually had to take it off because I started sweating. It was so amazing. Hello, Lemon Squeezy.
Wow.
Hello, the gorgeous and talented Kira. Yes. Pixie Lara, I'm going to keep bragging about this, so you might as well get used to it.
It looks warm.
Yeah, it does.
It's amazing. It's amazing.
You need that there in the north.
Oh, Merle got his camera set up properly now.
Yep.
Yeah.
Dude, it's brand new. This was a rush. I don't like to be rushed.
No, Android, I do not color my mustache. It's the only thing that's left that hasn't turned gray yet.
Dude, you should see the grays I'm getting. This is horrible.
Well, stop shaving your chest then, or start shaving your chest then.
What does that even have to do with anything?
Mm.
They're like really bad in there.
Oh,
So we wear a hat all the time.
yeah, I know.
Have you ever seen it that long, Dave? The hair that long? It's
Okay, just leave the camera.
dude,
Seriously. You're driving me nuts.
good.
I'm going to throw a shoe at you.
I hope it slightly stresses you out, but
It,
slightly.
it,
not a
it
lot.
actually is. I'm not going to lie. It
Good.
actually is right now. My anxiety is going through the roof right now.
Good.
Merle's the kind of guy who leaves a nose hair hanging an inch down.
Oh,
And then says, "What are you doing? What are you talking about?" Right? That's what he does.
Maybe.
Mm-hmm. All right, we got about 45 seconds here.
You just pull it out.
Oh, yeah, that's such a good feeling.
Mm.
You know what that's like, Shayla?
I do. Or not, I've waxed a lot of noses in my life.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's part of the.
Do you do the nose waxing thing at your job?
I do. I do. Yeah, I used.
I'm coming. I'm coming. I'm coming next time. Then I want to try that.
That must hurt.
We got 20 seconds. Thank you to Jenny. Thank you to Toe Tag and Louie. May 10th through 12th, 2024. Get your tickets now for the fan party in Las Vegas. Not Vegas, Reno. We're going to Reno. Silver Legacy Casor. You know what? I'll say it next time. I'm screwing it up. Here we go. Second half hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. My name is Dave Scott. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Dave Scott, and we are here to broadcast the woo to you. Want to remind you that if you miss portions of this show or others, you can check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can join us on Patreon at the SOR Space Travelers Club. We continue on tonight with our main man, Merle, from the Paranormal Road Trippers out of Vancouver, British Columbia, and we are talking aliens, UFOs, and other high strangeness out of Spokane, Washington, with Shayla and Cheyenne from the Paran Northwest. Everybody, welcome back.
Thanks, Dave.
All right. So, are you ladies going to be attending our Reno event for our fan party in May?
Yeah, we are going to try.
Yeah.
I'll tell you that.
I've been bugging them.
Yep. Yeah. Would absolutely love to go.
You know, much like the Grinch, I saw Merle's ego grow 3 times that day.
Merle doesn't have an ego. Well, I'm talking in third person, so I must.
We walked. So I got to tell you this story because this is actually kind of funny. Okay. At the fan party in Vegas, we were about to go into the VIP party that we had on the Friday night, and Merle walks up, and everybody in the casino at that point starts chanting Merle.
Stop. Oh my God.
Everybody, and no word of a lie. Don't even deny it, Merle. Don't even deny it. It
I didn't hear
happened.
anything.
It happened. All of our fans, all of our special guests, everybody starts chanting Merle as he walks up.
Really awkward.
And like I said, just like the Grinch who grew his heart 3 times, Merle's ego went. It was a beautiful thing to watch. You know, it was. And so we're going to do that again in Reno this year, May 10th through 12th. And remember, everybody is invited. If you listen to this show, everybody is invited. We had fans from all over Canada, all over the United States. We had fans flying in from the United Kingdom and Australia last year.
It was awesome.
To hang out with us and party with us because we have a good time. So what do you get? I'm just going to take a minute here and just explain what you get. We're having it at the Silver Legacy Casino and Resort. If you haven't looked it up online, it is amazing. Okay. And rooms right now, I believe, are around $139 a night. So May 10th through 12th, book that weekend. Okay. The Friday night, you're going to get a free radio show. You're going to be able to sit in. We're going to bring in all these special guests that you hear on this show. And they are going to be there all weekend to party with you, to hang out with you, to go for breakfast, go for dinner, go on a ghost hunt, go on a UFO skywatch. They're all going to be there for you, like Science Bob, Melinda Leslie. Okay, I think Michael Masters is coming. Merle is coming. Olaf Phillips, Geraldine Orozco, our entire SOR team. We're going to be building a list here very soon. Jim Goodall is going to be there. Okay, and they want to hang out with you guys. This event isn't about SOR. It's not a conference or anything. It is a party. where if you want to say, hey, Jim Goodall, I love airplanes. I want to go for dinner with you and learn all about the SR-71. Jim's going to say, yeah, let's do it. Right? Let's do it. And that's what happens. That's what it's all about. It's about interacting all of these really knowledgeable people that you've heard for years on radio and talk shows and written books. You bought their books. We're going to bring them all to you. Yeah. And we're going to have a good party night. So it is going to be amazing. May 10th through 12th, 2024. You can sign up by going to info@spacedoutradio.com. Merle's going to be there. That's all that's important.
I'll even let my hair down for a night, Dave.
Ooh.
Only till 10 p.m. Then it's bedtime.
Merle literally went through 5 Sharpies. He signed so many autographs. 5 Sharpies.
Well, you know how it is.
I believe it.
I do too.
I believe it.
Popular guy.
We've seen the guns. That's
Yeah,
what the
that's
stance
true.
is about.
Yep.
Yeah, they know. They've seen it in person. Yep.
It's
I know.
dangerous.
Absolutely. All right, ladies, let's get back to you because you're starting to engage in a lot of UFO and ET contact. Have you caught any aliens on or their voices or any type of weird signals through EVP?
No.
No,
haven't.
unfortunately not.
I'm trying to think if we've gotten any audio. We've gotten actually with Merle. You caught some interesting sounds when we were out in the field. There was like weird clicking, like these.
Yeah, that's what made me uneasy because it didn't sound like wood cracking, like walking through the trees. It was like clicking.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how to make the sound, but yeah, I did, and it was weird. I think that's what kind of did it for me. That made me really engage in wanting to find more with the extraterrestrials. And when I got home, I read about it too, and I guess clicking's a thing like that. That's what they do.
Yeah.
Yep.
That was it.
Yes. Back in, I think 2016, 2017, or it was 2018 when Carl came back. Him and his buddies were clicking up and down my driveway, and I was out on my patio listening to their conversation.
Now, Dave, is that them talking? Like, is that their communication?
Yeah, it's communication.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And it sounds, it reminds me of the movie Signs where you hear them.
That movie terrified me.
It did to me too. It absolutely did to me too. But I was hearing it, and Merle, you've been to my house/studio a number of times. You know my backyard, how it kind of slopes on down. One was in the slope, and one was up my driveway near my big trees. And it was like, and they were having a conversation. It was absolutely incredible, And so I did what I was supposed to do. I got a hold of our Keith Andrews, said, hey, man, what's going on here? Like, dude, Carl's back. And he's brought some friends with him. He's like, oh, good. Can you see him? And I'm like, no. But I can hear him.
Yep.
And so I did what any man would do. I felt like I needed to go to the local lake to see more, that they were going to show me the mothership. So I did what any man would do before going there. I went down to the local Tim Hortons, grabbed a coffee and a donut.
What you got to do?
Nice cafe and a donut. I went to the lake, was there for an hour, staring up at the sky, never saw anything. Go home, they're all gone. It's like, you bastards.
Yeah.
I don't understand why we can't see them, but you can hear them. That's what baffles me.
It's like a ghost.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. They want to keep their mystery, I guess.
They don't want to show all their cards yet.
Do you think that they have the ability to go invisible?
I don't see why not.
Yeah, I do.
You know what I mean? Yeah.
I also want to say too, I feel like our idea as people of aliens is like, your basic big-eyed green alien. But from what we've found in doing what we do, there is so many kinds of races.
Yeah, species.
That you would never even could think of. Like Cheyenne has seen some wild ones that look like
metal-like aliens.
And some of them wear clothes, and some of them
are insects.
Yeah.
Insect-like aliens.
Spiders. Remember
Yep.
when you saw the spider?
Yeah. Just like the ant people that you always hear about. Like the indigenous people would always talk about the star people were like the ant people. Like that's what they look like. That's real. It's crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Now,
So why do you think all of these species, Cheyenne, you've all of a sudden been able to channel and pick up?
That's a really good question. I think it's because they know it's safe, trusting, and appropriate for me to know these things, because I've built such what do they call
Rapport.
them? Yeah, a rapport with them. So like, okay, we can trust you. We've been talking to them for over like a year and a half, 2 years. So I think that's why they feel safe, and I'm not gonna judge them. You know what I mean? I would never, So I think they're like, it's okay, we can show her.
Have you at any time, Cheyenne, been afraid of the beings that you've been in contact with? Have they showed you anything about fear or what they have the ability to do?
I feel like the fear is instilled, I guess, just because we're so sensitized to that, the fear of it just within society. I try to not let that happen, because personally, I feel like they're not here to harm me. I've had the experience where I've almost came into contact basically with being probed. But I don't feel like it was for a menacing purpose.
I remember you saying you've been, I guess, abducted before, right?
Yeah, I have been abducted. I just ended up in this craft. It was almost like the sterilized feeling of a operating room, where everything's very silver and just like, sterile, clean. I've talked about this on the podcast, but I had like almost a white hospital gown on, but it was opened in the front, and I couldn't move my body. But the ET that I saw, it's a species I've never seen before, where its head was almost like the shape of like a football, but its eyes and mouth opened like rectangularly. It's different kind of a species, I guess, than what I'm normally used to. But yeah, they were close. It was like basically close. Whatever they were going to like use, this instrument was very much close to my body, and then thankfully I was able to awake. I was awoken. So I don't think it happened. I have a high chance it could have happened though, and I just don't remember it.
At any time did you suffer paralysis?
Well, like I said, I couldn't necessarily move, but like sleep paralysis itself, no. I could only move my eyes, really. So, I guess away, yeah.
That'd be terrifying.
Yeah.
Did it happen just the once? Or has it happened?
Just the once I've seen it happen that I can remember.
We've been told by a tribal elder that we have been taken before.
Mm-hmm.
And that's like how this all kind of came about. And we
Mhm.
were like, what?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Dave, have you ever been taken away? I don't recall you telling me.
8 times that I know of.
Wow.
8 times. And I have seen people on craft. I know it's been more because I have people who have seen me on craft where I have no recollection. That's the scary part.
Yeah.
One of my favorite, if you could call it a favorite time, was a lot of it happens. You think you're in a dream state
Right.
because they cover up so much. And one of the times, and I love telling this story, I was in this dream state. It was a dreary, rainy West Coast, Seattle, Vancouver type of night. And there was these two tall, dark hotel towers with a convention center in between them. And inside that convention center was a UFO conference. And I remember seeing a number of people that I recognize in there. Now, whether that's the dream or not, I don't know.
Hmm.
But one of the people there was Dr. Bob McGuire, who we call Science Bob. And oh yes, and apparently another time I have met up with Katy Perry on the craft.
Oh,
That came out in a oh, what the hell do you call those things? When you go back in time and your mind starts with an R.
A regression.
Regression. Thank you. Yeah. I love her. Love her. Anyways, yeah, that's my celebrity crush, Katy Perry. What the hell? But in this time, Dr. Bob McGuire was there, and I remember being chased around by 3 grays. One that was running around by himself, and the other 2 that were running in a pair.
Hmm.
And from there, I remember waking up, and it felt like I didn't sleep a wink that night. Okay. And my body was hurting. Every muscle joined to my body was killing me. And so I hopped in the shower to try and loosen up. Nothing happened. And no scratches on my body, nothing. So I call up Science Bob that morning and I said, how'd you sleep? He goes, I was tossing and turning all night. And he goes, in fact, the wife actually thought there was a burglar in the house because she heard footsteps downstairs.
Wow.
And I went, wow. I said, Bob, I got taken last night. You were there. And he goes, oh, okay, in his scientific way. About 8 hours later, he calls me back, and on his Fitbit, he checked it, and it showed him wide awake for 90 minutes.
That's weird.
That
no
is weird.
way.
Yeah.
Yeah. In the middle of the night, it showed him wide awake for 90 minutes.
And that's a Katy Perry song. Wide awake.
Yes, it is.
So is Aliens.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. Yeah. So on my regression that I got 2 years ago in San Francisco from Geraldine Orozco, it actually had me on a craft with Katy Perry.
That's pretty cool.
Dang.
Yeah.
One of the lucky ones.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I saw her live once, Dave, but you win.
Yeah. At least you can recall yours.
That's true.
So, yes, I have been on craft. I've had bad things happen. I've had good things happen. I've had strange things happen.
Mhm.
They've never let me fly the craft, which pisses me off.
What would be a bad thing that happens? Because I know with ghost stuff, a bad thing that would happen would be a growl, a scratch, being touched negatively, having an attachment or whatever, things like that. But when it comes to aliens, what's equivalent to that? Like I don't know. Would it be being harmed when you're in the craft? Would it be them?
A lot of people have had surgeries, whether it's needles and punctures in their hands, in their arms, their legs, in
Okay.
their eyes. Anal probing, which is, from all intents and purposes, apparently not a fun thing to go through. Okay. There is a lot of people who have claimed to have their bones broken only to be put back together before they get back home. Like they remember their arms being snapped or fingers being dislocated. Others, they don't come back. And we don't know what's happened to them. Did they become food? Did they agree to go to a different world because life wasn't very fun for them here? Or maybe they're just adventurous. We don't know.
Yeah.
It's a
Dang.
whole thing out there. You just never know. There's the possibilities are
Endless.
Yeah.
Literally.
You know, but I mean, there are people out there. I mean, and as you've talked to people, Cheyenne and Shayla, about this, have you ever talked to anybody who's flown the craft?
nope.
Never. I've never came across anyone who's been able to do that.
I've come across one, and
No.
it was a 12-year-old girl. Well, she's about 16, 17 now. But she was
Wow.
12 at the time. And she had flown the craft. And I said, what was it like? And she was like, it's just, you sit in there and you put your hands on these like balls, these orbs, and then you just tell the craft where to go with your mind, and it goes there.
Yeah, that
I
makes
believe
sense.
it.
That makes sense.
Yeah. I'm jealous of her.
Hey, maybe one.
Yeah, I'll come pick you up. Oh,
Please do. Please do. That is my goal with this show before I retire, when I'm like 90. Okay, is I want to have a craft during this show land behind SOR headquarters. And I want to walk out onto that craft, look inside, much like James Earl Jones investigates the corn in Field of Dreams at the end. I want to investigate that craft. I want to look inside of it. And then I want to take a deep breath, have a little nervous giggle, and walk inside. In the meantime, the show is on commercial break, and I take off.
Katy Perry comes down that ramp and says fireworks, and then all the fireworks come, and
Katy Perry walks out with me.
then you'll be like Maverick and Goose just driving around like Top Gun 3 up there, and or flying, not driving.
She had that ET song.
Oh yeah,
Don't forget that.
True.
with Kanye West, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You know what that means.
so
Okay,
yeah,
It is extraterrestrial, as she says.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
interesting.
You got that right.
That to you, Dave.
You know what, Dave? I hope that happens for you.
Thank you. What a
Mhm.
way to, you gotta admit, though, it'd be one hell of a way to retire from this show.
It's the ultimate mic drop right there.
It would be the complete mic drop. Complete mic drop is you go outside during a break and there's a UFO there and you get on board, and your audience, because you're still live, doesn't know what's going on. Where's Dave? Where did
Where'd
he
he
go?
We don't know.
He'll be back. Is he okay? Because you know what would happen is after a few minutes, there would be a number of listeners, and I'll never play, guaranteed listeners, I will never play this prank because I hate pranks. Okay? Hate them.
You do
But
get
you
excited.
know within a few minutes of that happening and me not coming back, like I'm talking like half an hour, 40 minutes, there is going to be calls for welfare checks to the local RCMP here. I know that's going to happen. And they're going to come here. They're going to wake up my family, and they're going to check the studio and see that everything is still on and live, right? And Dave will be gone because I'm going into space.
Bro.
Merle from Paranormal Road Trippers and Ghosts of the Great White North continues with Paranorthwest, Cheyenne and Shayla. UFOs, aliens. We're going to get into some Wendigo next on the Mighty SOR. That would be awesome. Not going to lie.
You'd be walking up that ramp like Vince McMahon. There's a WWE reference, but you'd be all like walking up there like that, thinking you're pretty cool, and you just walk in there thinking you own the ship. And
I would be total James Earl Jones.
All right.
I guarantee you that craft is in my backyard. It would take me at least 10 minutes to walk up to it because I would be trying to decide whether or not that's a smart thing to do.
Dude, I'm still in my Zach Baggins phase of aliens, though. I'm at the like, come at me, bro. Show yourself.
You are, Mike.
Yeah.
Oh, I love it.
But then they're going to show themselves, and I'll be like, tail between my legs. Don't hit me.
Yeah. We got to get you the pants, though. That's
How did you like Merle, York City?
I didn't like that one. Was boring, dude. I love all your other ones.
I liked it.
I'm gonna put on my special getup for this next hour.
Are they the goggles?
Uh-oh. Oh, no.
No, I'm bringing in the paranormal in bulk.
Oh, my God.
If you know place to buy bulk.
You guys. She got this.
There he is.
Yesterday. She's never been more excited for anything in her life. You're going to see why.
I'm pretty sure it cured a little bit of depression that I had.
But I see German Shepherd ears.
Oh, yeah. He's here. King's here.
King.
Come here.
I love that dog.
Say hi.
Good boy. There he is.
Loud as can be, as always.
Hi, King. You got a Costco hoodie?
Yeah, it says Costco wholesale on it. I'm bringing in the paranormal in bulk.
I love it. Did you know you get Kirkland ones too?
I didn't get my hands on ones.
You could also get Kentucky Fried Chicken ones.
Oh, God, I don't know if I can sport that. Shayla can.
Canlin, yes, we've talked to Dolly a number of times about it. Hi there, Candy Wolf.
I go grab one. Okay. A Coke?
Yeah.
Yeah, grab me a Coke, please. If you don't.
Can you grab me a Coke, please?
Me too.
We got you. Don't worry.
Thank you.
Did I bring you Kentucky chicken chips the last time I was there?
No, you said they were out.
All right. We'll have to bring those.
What was it?
The KFC chips.
Oh, right.
Where's their KFC chips?
Everywhere down here, Lay's makes them.
Really?
No,
I haven't
Ruffles.
seen them.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them up here yet.
It tastes
Then
like the
again,
7 special spices. That's what they put
No
on
freaking way.
Oh, yeah. With like a spritz of their gravy. It's like, it's a top tier chip.
Yeah.
I love the chip battle up here, man.
Love chips.
Love a good chip. Good Tim Cascade chip.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, that sounds like a good Coca-Cola.
Crisp.
It definitely is.
And it's even. Oh.
It's the
The
Santa
Christmas.
I got
Oh,
mine
wow.
too.
I'm a Pepsi guy.
Oh. I can get behind
one.
Pepsi
Me too. Me too.
Thanks for having us on here, though.
Yeah.
Oh, no problem. No problem.
I've been
Yeah.
talking about the alien stuff we did with Dave like constantly. To me, it was really cool, and like I've never experienced that. But then now we got to talk about the other stick guys and the Wendigos.
Oh, boy.
We
You know,
should-
I want. You know what though? I'm just going to let you ladies know.
Oh.
When Merle plans a trip down there, he never invites me.
Actually, last time I told you when I was going. To be fair,
You
Let's
told
put
me
it out
when
there.
you told me when you were going, but there was never a. Hey, do you want to come along?
Hey, when Dave goes and sees Guns N' Roses in Vancouver, he doesn't call me to go for lunch.
Mm.
Mm.
Or when he goes to the other concert, he doesn't call me for breakfast.
Mm.
Or when he goes fishing really quickly, he doesn't call me for a good lunch.
Mm. Mm.
You weren't expecting that, were you?
It's called revenge.
Next time.
Yeah.
Yep. That's how we roll around here.
I enjoyed doing the so my video is actually almost complete. I had a hiccup with my hard drive, but the video is almost complete for our folklore.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, you're so scared in the video. That's what makes it.
Oh God.
It's,
I was terrified. I'm not.
God,
That's
our
no lie.
faces on camera are not it.
All right, guys. We got 1 minute here.
that was a quote of the day.
Thank you to Louis ×2, Toe Tag, and Jenny for the amazing super chats. We very much appreciate love and support. If you're new here, don't forget to hit subscribe, ring that bell. You can shop at spacedoutradio.com. We do not have ugly swag, people. It is nice. You want to wear it out because nothing's ugly on there. Okay? Not like half the paranormal teams and their logos. All right? You'd never wear it in public. Right? Not with our stuff, including our 2 MERLE shirts that we have.
Talk about
2
ugly
MERLE
swag.
shirts. We do not have ugly swag. Don't forget, May 10th through 12th. We want to see you all in 2024 at the Fan Party in Reno, Nevada. Tickets on sale now, and book your rooms at the Silver Legacy Casino and Resort. Here we go.
You're listening to Spaced Out Radio with Dave Scott. Follow Dave on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio and on Facebook, Spaced Out Radio Show.
Hour number 2 of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Thank you so much for joining us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live at KPNL. All of our archives are free. Join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. YATE. YATE is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire. Check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can join us on Patreon by joining the Space Travelers Club. Here we go. We continue on with a good night of entertainment on Ghosts of the Great White North. Our main man Merle is here once again talking about all the weird stuff that he's been through, especially in Spokane, Washington, with the ladies from Paran Northwest, Cheyenne and Shayla, and the Wendigo. Merle, take it away.
So starting with Wendigo, how would you guys express what we saw when with that horse? Like, we'll talk about that before we go into part 2. Like, we all thought it was a horse. So
Yeah.
Dave, in March, I went to Spokane and we were looking for Wendigo, and we went to a known spot that Shayla and Cheyenne know about, and we had a flare and we had a kind of like a spotlight, and so we saw what looked to be a horse coming down the mountain, but then it kind of shape shifted into something a little narrower, and its tail, the tail curled up, kind of like a dog, like a husky, which horses' tails don't do that. And then it kind of just disappeared down the mountain. What would you say? How would you explain it? Like what we saw? It was bizarre.
Like the body of a horse, but it moved not like a horse, and the tail wasn't like a horse.
It was like the way its shoulders moved for me. It was very odd, and it was like skinny and like super muscular. It's the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
But even when we tracked its prints, they shifted from a horse hoof into more of like a almost like an oval in a sense.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it had toes.
Right.
Yeah, from hoof to toe. It was
Mm. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know what that was either.
That was something
And that was on
shape-shifting.
the res.
that was and we caught that on camera.
Yeah.
And even Dave, like you saw the footage, you didn't you were unsure what it was.
It was weird to me because, like anybody else, and if I put my skeptical pose on for a second, okay, your mind tries to always explain something familiar to it.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
And in the footage, and Merle, I'll get you to describe the footage if you don't mind. But the footage that I saw of it, which is, I believe, on your Facebook or on your YouTube channel, the Paranormal Road Trippers,
Mm-hmm.
I want to say it's a horse.
Yeah.
But there's just something about it that keeps me from believing it's a horse.
It
Mhm.
was a horse and went into something else. And it takes a lot for me to say that because like I find I'm super analytical a lot, but I couldn't explain it. Like I think what we saw was kind of like a once in a lifetime thing. I don't know if we would be able to duplicate that because we tried. We went to that area
Right.
in August and experienced nothing like that. The same spot.
It was the way it moved and the way it kind of was going in and out of these,
darting.
darting in like these bushes, and it was heading down towards the water, and it was like the dead of, I mean, it was cold.
Oh yeah.
We were
It was-
freezing out there.
Yeah. In fact, Cheyenne and I stayed in the car when Mike went out and tried to get footage of the prints, and we were hearing tapping on the car window.
Oh God.
And it was terrifying. I don't know what that was.
Okay, so what did this lead to recently?
So we went back into the woods in in August, and we were trying to find, I guess, what would be a shapeshifter
Yeah.
or the W, and the stick people. Which can you guys explain the folklore with the stick people? Because that's kind of what we were really looking for.
Yeah, so the stick Indians, they are tiny
Malevolent,
beings.
yeah, creatures.
Yeah, and they are not pleasant. They're known to spit on you, to slap tires. They try to lure you in.
Mm-hmm.
And
So they can eat you.
Yeah.
Like feast on your body.
Now, what do you mean by stick people, Cheyenne?
So they're little, they call them stick people because they are little, I don't even know, spirits? I don't know what you would, there are creatures, but they live in the sticks, but they're real small, maybe a couple inches. And they wear little masks. I mean, if you Google it hard enough, you can find kind of what we're talking about.
They look just like primitive indigenous people,
Yeah.
but on a very miniature scale.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I believe up here they call them the little people.
That's
Those are
different.
Oh, they're different.
They're
Yeah.
different, Dave. That's what I learned too.
Okay, so I've never heard of this before.
Mhm.
Yeah. So this is down here. We're down in the Salish people's territory, kind of where we're at. They're more known in like Salish tribes. But yeah, different than little people. Little people, normally come around when you're sick or they take your things. Little, I mean, on a deviant scale, way less.
Oh, yeah.
They're more of just little tricksters, whereas the stick people they will hurt you and take your stuff and take you. Yeah.
So Dave, what we were doing in August, because we talked about it actually for a couple months before I went back there, is a lot of people will tell us stories of the folklore about the cryptids and that. But we were kind of, well, let's communicate with the cryptids or try and make ourselves more open. I don't want to use the word vulnerable because we weren't being vulnerable. Um, More susceptible to speaking to these stick people and seeing if they will come out, if we can capture them, if we could hear them, if we could experience them. Um, it was really scary in some spots, man.
Mhm.
Like watching Shayla and Cheyenne, because I was filming them, try to communicate with them, and they were really good yin and yang. Shayla, Shayla was extremely scared a lot, which made for a good film. Um, but Cheyenne was very grounded, and it was really cool to watch like her thought process during our investigation. And like with both, straight up, it was you guys were awesome at trying to communicate, and same with I was pushing the envelopes by calling them,
Mhm.
and one of the tells with the stick people, or I guess you guys call them stick Indians,
Mhm.
is don't whistle at night because the whistling lures them in and attracts them. So that was one of the experiments we did. I whistled when we were walking, um, without warning, and trying to hear them whistle back or have see if things will be like little things maybe be thrown at us or feel things on our feet.
Right.
And that's kind of what we were looking for. We were really pushing the envelope and instead of just talking the lore, experiencing the lore.
Yeah, I feel like I chimed in with the whistling too.
You did. Yep.
Shayla was scared.
Yeah. I mean, I just want people to realize too, like culturally, I know this sounds weird, but like whistling at night is such a big deal that it is really frowned upon. It's really looked down upon. So, and I have never known anyone to actually do it. So I was like, no, I'll let you guys do that. I'll just be here.
I wanted to test the limits.
But we had respectful intent too. Like we weren't just mucking around.
Yeah.
Um, we are really trying to document any sort of evidence that we could produce or have happen.
Mhm.
We went to this one spot towards the end of our night, and we're like, "Okay, Cheyenne, you're gonna go sit alone
Yeah.
with the lights, with the tripwire. Dave, your favorite toy, the paranormal toy,
I
the
love
tripwire."
that. Love that.
So Cheyenne basically she sat in a camping chair,
Yeah.
and I put the tripwire around her, and I think we put a couple other. Sorry,
Objects.
there's an alarm outside, but and a couple other objects around her, and some of that footage was corrupt. I don't know how it happened or what happened. It just didn't work, and that's the first time that's happened with that particular camera. So of course that happens. That's so Bigfoot, right? And we tried to go again, like reshoot it, so to speak, to see if we could get some stuff, but that lost footage was really good interactions and
Yeah.
all like Cheyenne's experiences. It was, and then like we were sitting in Cheyenne's vehicle when she was outside, so like I was getting a little uneasy. I know Shayla was getting uneasy just because of the whole atmosphere. Man, I wish if there's anyone out there that can uncorrupt or fix a corrupt video file, please reach out to me because I still have it.
Yeah, that was insane. I was so a little bit bitter over us losing that because I just wanted the world to see that. But I guess during that time, they didn't want anyone else to see that except for who was experiencing it.
But on the flip side, thinking about it now, maybe that was our evidence of the night.
Yeah, you got to weigh it out. Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah, that
I
video,
love it.
yeah, and that video should be done this week, Dave, for you to see.
I want to know in regards to these stick people because I'm very interested in this. How tall are they? Where do they live?
So they live in the sticks. is what they say.
Like in the ground kind of a deal.
Yep, they live in the ground and
brush and different, wooded areas.
they're typically anywhere from, I think it's like 3 to 7 inches is what they say. Typically.
And have you guys ever, I think you told me a story that you guys experienced them.
Yeah.
We did.
So, okay, our family comes from the Plains people, so we weren't familiar with
Any of this.
no. We had never even heard of this, but we work with a lot of indigenous people. And so her and I had went out, we'd taken some friends out to
That same reservation.
yep, the same road that we've had incidences on. And we took them out there. We're driving. Okay, we're in 2 separate cars. It's a summer night. We stop to get out of, and we get out of the car. And I don't even remember why we did that.
Oh, it's because the name of the road came through
The spirit box.
the spirit box. And then shortly after we saw that road, we were like, yep, we're going to go ahead and take it. This was our confirmation.
So as soon as we step out of the vehicle, we're all standing out there, just listening, talking, whatever. And we hear a distinct, and it was clear as day, and it was close, whistling at us.
Oh, dang.
And it sounded like it was coming from like the grass. There was like tall grass, and it was a flat area, and like there was just enough moonlight to see the like horizon. And so as soon as we heard it, and it was a tune, we all looked at each other and we were like, get in the car, because we all know whistling's never a good sign, right? So we hop in the car, whatever, we're all freaked out. Cheyenne started like consulting people in the area that are from that reservation, and that's when we were told of what these beings were.
Yep.
And we were told that if we would have stuck around for any more amount of time, our tires would have been slashed and we would have had no way home.
Yep.
And it was like a super dangerous situation that we shouldn't have even been in.
Wow.
And that they told us about the little or the stick Indians, and we were like, what is this? And yeah, we just had people telling us stories left and right about this is what the Salish people like deal with. This is the real thing, and
Yep.
we have had encounters with them. They're out there.
Unbelievable. I have seen a stick figure, but I'm really interested in the whistling.
Mhm.
I'll tell you why. Because this past summer, when we had our major encounter while we were filming, Merle got whistled at.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you were put into a trance and you walked right away from us, which we had a team rule. Nobody goes alone anywhere. And
Yeah.
he walked, and of course it had to be Merle, and he walks right away from us. Okay. And all of a sudden you hear him coming back. Nope. And when we got back, we were like, what was the noping about? He's like, I got whistled at.
Yeah,
Oof.
that is a nope. That is.
What do you think it was?
Yeah, what did you feel?
Oh, we got to be careful with what we talk about on
On
this.
that one, I don't know what it was. I just wandered. That would be my honest answer. I heard. I still feel nope even thinking about it.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Yep.
But again, that's it's more for me. It's curiosity's killed the cat, because I want to push and see what it is.
Mhm.
Like even like on your reservation, and that we hear it, but then what? Like, do we run away and be like, oh man, why did we run away? That sucks. Or do we just pull up our pants and go, let's go see what this is?
Right.
Mhm.
Right. And I think that's really what I want to capture. Like, again, is hear that on audio, and And instead of being, well, what we could be tranced out, we could have something happen to us. But I just want to document the evidence, document the encounters.
Mhm.
And what are, you said, Dave, up in your neck of the woods, what are they called?
Stick people, not or the stick people. They're
Yeah.
called. We have little people up here,
Mhm.
and we have forest dwellers.
Oh,
Forest dwellers.
What's a
The
forest
forest
dweller?
dweller. I've seen one forest dweller, and it literally looked like a stick. Like it was about 18 inches tall,
Mm.
and it
Ooh.
looked like a stick. And it came walking right on the trail where I was with my son. And it walked probably it was about 30 feet ahead of us, came up an embankment from the lakeside. The lake was probably 40 feet, 50 feet below us. And it took about 3 or 4 steps onto the path that we were on. It stopped, looked at us, and then ran right back down the embankment.
Dang.
And the one thing I remember about it, because it was way too quick to grab a picture of, but the one thing that caught me off guard about it was that it was blurry.
That's really interesting. That reminds me of that one encounter that was on Missing 411. The Haunted. Have you watched that, Dave?
Yeah, I've seen The Hunted, yeah.
That kind of reminds me of that.
was there?
No, it was Hirsch. So this gal was talking about her, basically like that same encounter of it being blurry, and yeah, I don't know. That's interesting.
Yeah, so that's why I think, like, when it comes to Sasquatch, or it comes to a lot of these other type of creatures, when people are griping and saying, okay, well, how come we never get a clear photo? I really do believe that these creatures have the ability, or are on an energetic level that makes them look blurry. And that's why when we take a photo of them, they're never very clear.
Mm-hmm.
That could make sense.
Do you
Yeah.
think it's interference?
I don't know if it's interference, but I don't know if they're fully in this timeline to be
Right.
clear.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So it could
Right.
be, yeah, okay. I
It's
hear what
kind
you're
of like
saying.
it's kind of like the theory of Sasquatch. The majority of Sasquatch footprints, number one, you usually only find 1, maybe 2 prints. And the majority of those prints are right-footed, not left-footed.
That's an interesting
Oh.
thought.
Yeah. And if you talk to a lot of, whether they're flesh and blooders, or whether they are people who are on the woo side of Sasquatch, a lot of them will say and confirm that we only find right prints.
Hmm.
And the theory is Sasquatch is walking in 2 dimensions at once.
Ooh, I like that.
Oh, I really do. Yeah, that's
So
Okay.
when we found our prints last year, about 30 feet apart, we found 2 left prints, both going in the same direction, both 16 inches. And the question was that I had in my head was, where were the right prints? And where were the left prints in between?
mm-hmm.
Okay. And that's the weird part. And if we think about it on a dimensional level, if they are walking in and out of dimension, number one, they could be blurry, hypothetically speaking. But number two, we're not going to get every print. That's why when you hear a Sasquatch investigator talking about, hey, we were lucky enough to find a row of 10 prints or 20 prints, that's why they're so rare.
Mm-hmm.
You just never see them. On that note, we have paranormal road trippers, host Merle with us, along with the ladies from Paran Northwest, Shayla and Cheyenne, talking monsters here on coast of the Great White North. A great show tonight. We got them for another half an hour on Spaced Out Radio. We'll be right back. Merle go round.
Merle go round. Dave, can you do your ninja Sasquatch voice for Shayla and Cheyenne?
Is that what they sound like?
Yeah.
I love that.
Me too.
Yes.
They sound like, yeah.
Mhm.
Oh, that's too good.
Where should we take it for the last half hour? This is Dave. This is the biggest woo episode I've ever done. Would this be woo? Is this considered woo?
Yes.
Okay. That's good. Aliens and cryptids. I love it.
Yeah.
But man, the stick people, they terrify me, but I really want to experience it.
Yeah.
If you haven't Googled a picture, there's one specific picture that is absolutely terrifying.
I'll send it to you.
Send it.
Yeah.
Send it.
Yep. I'm getting a bit concerned because my phone's getting low on the battery.
Well, why don't you plug it in?
I know. Well, yeah, I'm gonna.
You know that would work, right?
Yeah.
Y'all got your tree up?
Oh,
We have 3.
3.
So ridiculous. I swear.
Oh, I love this one from LC. Merle Gasmic.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
I can get on board with that one.
Merle Gasmic. Very nice. Very nice. Can we get a close-up of Merle's photo on the wall?
No, I can't move my camera. Which one?
That one.
That one?
Yeah.
I don't know how you're going to manage that one. Why didn't you turn on your low power mode?
Well, how do you do that?
I have a photo of that one specifically on my Instagram. There's a close-up of it.
I'm trying to find the picture that I always see with the stick. Oh, I think I might have found. Okay. This is kind of like how it is.
Where'd Period Dot go?
Oh, Period Dot, he's lurking about.
Haven't seen him in a while.
He's a kind of in the shadows type of guy.
I don't remember anymore.
We're going sideways,
There
guys.
we go. There we go. Now we can actually see you guys.
When
Why did
sorry.
you do it that way the entire time?
when the Halloween candy went on clearance, I bought you guys a giant box of Canadian chocolates.
Yum.
Oh, yeah.
I love that for us. I'm
Oops. Sorry.
That's a nice table. Pulling the Merle right now.
I know. I was really sorry about that. There you go.
Dave, what flavor?
Blueberry.
Cheyenne, what flavor are you rocking?
mango.
Okay.
By the way, Merle, I did send that to you. That picture of the stick Indians.
Send it to just send it to Dave.
Oh, dang.
Here we go. There we
It's
go. It's
weird.
sent.
Could you imagine those little guys running at your feet?
Very
Where is it? Show us on camera.
perfect.
Oh. That's interesting.
Yeah, they are.
The Doug Shelby wants to know, Merle, do you still have that creepy doll?
I do. She is in a tote underneath my desk because I don't feel comfortable displaying it.
Let me know if you ever need it off your hands.
I'll bring the tote next time I'm in your neck of the woods.
Perfect.
We got 3 in there.
I'm kind of looking into some dolls.
Yeah?
Yeah, for my room.
Want some haunted dolls?
Yeah.
Little Marky Spender says, Merle, I'm going to whistle next time we take Merle out to the site.
You know, I'm a little jumpy with that now.
Oh, by the way, Merle, we were there on Sunday.
Okay.
And guess where we were getting energy from again? Like we
Where?
were being watched.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Here we go, everybody. We passed the halfway point of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Thank you for joining us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears. Reminder to all of you that if you've missed most of this show or others, check out our free archives by going to youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do old Davey the favor, hit that subscribe button. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can join us on Patreon in the SOR Space Travelers Club. Merle from the Paranormal Road Trippers is back. Final segment of Ghosts of the Great White North for this month. And our good friends, Shayla and Cheyenne from Paranorthwest in Spokane, Washington. And it's good to have you guys here. You know, I mean, we've talked a lot about some weird stuff that you guys have been seeing. I want to get back to the aliens here for a second because, Cheyenne, you are the one who is channeling them. You said you've channeled a number of the different species so far.
Mm-hmm.
How many now?
Oh, God.
I don't know. I've never necessarily counted. I know at least 5. Like, I know at least 5. In fact, just last week, one was hanging outside my house.
Wow.
That was a total act. Like, let me preface this, actually. 2 weeks ago, I was going on a road trip across Washington, and I saw me and my friend that was in the car with me. She's kind of a non-believer, you know? I was driving and I just saw this bright light. It's pitch black outside in the sky. And she's like, oh my God, did you just see that? And I was like, okay, come on. You know what I mean? Like, you're not denying we both just saw that. We both experienced it. It couldn't have been a shooting star and it wasn't no plane. Come on. I forgot to tell you about that. But, well, last week I went outside to grab something from my car and I heard some rustling in the leaves next to my house. And I look over and this man comes out of the bushes. I could see whatever he was wearing. It was like normal people clothes, but I couldn't see his face. And he had gloves on and I like stopped. It was like a bone chilling stop. And my stomach dropped and he goes, hey. And then he waved at me. Right when he said, hey, I heard a frog ribbit. And I associate the frogs with the aliens because I often will hear them and see them doing the Gansfield. And I'll hear them after the Gansfield too. And I haven't done the Gansfield since Mike was here. So, yeah.
Can you make it clear for our audience who may not fully comprehend what the Gansfeld experiment is?
Yeah, so it's a sensory deprivation technique where you cut a ping pong ball in half, cover your eyes with it. You listen to white noise on full blast in your ears while staring into a red light, and it exposes you basically to the other side of whatever wants to come and talk.
And how successful is that?
100% of the time, it's been successful for me. It has never failed. I've never had no communication. It never failed.
And it doesn't matter if your eyes are open or closed. You will hear auditory things and visual. So it's said to be like similar to a hallucination.
Really?
Yep.
Anyone can do it.
Anyone. Yep.
So what happens when you're in this thing? Is it much like the what's Mike the Estes method?
It's Estes method. It's similar, but it's a lot different.
Okay, that tells me nothing, man, on radio.
So fair enough. So when I say it's different, it's the same but different. It's you're using a spirit box for the Estes method, and you are and the spirits are using the spirit box to throw out words to communicate. And you have a blindfold on, so you're in pitch black. Now with a Gans field, it's just pure white noise. And I haven't experienced it, but from what I've observed, it appears that she's going with the just the white noise, and something to do with a red light kind of trances you out while you're listening to the noise.
Yep.
So that's what I mean. Different but the same. It's yeah.
Okay, so the results that you get, are they pretty intimidating?
It was at first just because I didn't know necessarily what I was doing. I knew I was channeling something. I didn't know what I was doing until I got familiar. They started showing me the same, I guess, the same aliens. So, like, for example, I've seen this certain alien family. I know that there's a grandpa alien, a dad alien, there's a brother, there's a mom. Because they're relating it to how we see, like, let's say, older people or moms or babies. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Yeah.
And they talk to you too, right?
It's a little bit, more on the telepathy level, just because that's how the aliens do communicate.
Right. Okay. So what does their language sound like to you?
Oh, no, I just hear it in my own thoughts. Like, in my own...
So
like,
English.
it's like... Yeah, English, yeah. Yeah, English.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Shayla, have you done it before?
I've attempted it one time, and it took a little bit of time to get into it, and I started hearing voices, and I had to stop. It was like really intense.
It is really intense. You have to be mentally prepared for that. Like, okay, I'm probably going to experience things. You're gonna have like maybe an aftermath episode. Like for days, if I do it for a long period of time,
Too many times,
I start to hallucinate after. It's just an after effect, a symptom of your experience.
So you should be pretty sound and grounded when you're doing this sort of experience.
Yeah.
Experiment. Dave, I want you to try this one with the extraterrestrials.
I would be more than willing to absolutely do that. I mean, look, we've had very close encounters, and I would love to get these ladies close with Samantha Mowat to see what we could all generate together. Now, Samantha is a UFO and ET magnet. Like every time I go into a forest with Samantha, there is aliens.
Oh, I like that.
And we're not talking imaginary. We're not talking about, oh, do you feel their energy? We're talking physical.
That's what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Yes.
Wow.
So Samantha is a major conduit to the species of extraterrestrials that are out there.
I want to meet her.
Yeah.
How many different races have you experienced? Because I like they say that there's many races of extraterrestrials.
Like I said, like,
You've encountered at least 5, but the weird thing is they've shown her more
yeah,
people. She just hasn't met them.
that makes sense.
Yeah, like they'll tell her information about other species.
Oh,
Yeah.
weird. Okay.
Yeah.
How about
Cheyenne,
you? Sorry, Dave.
sorry, Mike. Let me get this in here because Cheyenne, I've been kind of watching you on this subject all night, and I know it's new to you, but you're holding back. Does this topic bug you?
No, I love it.
Okay,
If anyone
okay.
knows me, they know that I'm that crazy lady that's like, I saw aliens and they were in my bedroom. Yeah.
One of my favorite things is watching her get right into the zone. She's saddled up and it's go time.
Yeah. One thing I would love to do, like you and I, Dave, like if we all were able to get together, us at the same time doing a GANS build. I want to know what the effects would be for the people that's not doing it. You know,
That's cool.
that's another thing. There are effects that happen in the room.
Oh,
What are those effects?
Well, what they mess with the lights.
Mhm.
What else, Shayla? Because they mess with the lights, definitely.
We've had a lot of issues with, oddly enough,
Electrical in a way.
Yeah.
Electrical.
walkie-talkies that we just happen to have around.
Will
They'll just
go
turn
off.
on and start going off.
The spirit box. They come through the spirit box.
In fact, it broke the spirit box.
Actually, we do have video of the sounds coming through spirit box. One
cool.
time. Yeah, the aliens.
And oddly enough, they sounded like the tones that we play during the CE5.
Yep.
Oh, wow.
It's bizarre.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's pretty. The reason why I asked that is because when you're kind of new to this topic, like you are, I mean, there is some adjustment, there is some fear, there is some skepticism, and everything that kind of trolls along with it. And you just seem, from other shows that you've been on where you've been very yappy about things, you just seem, and I'll call you out on it, but you seem very reserved and resistant a little bit.
Maybe
about
I'm just tired tonight.
I think too, again, it's one of those things that's rooted culturally.
I think I'm just tired tonight. I'm sorry, I've been yawning all night. But yeah.
Merle, go ahead.
I was gonna say, Dave, have you experienced the other races?
I have mostly dealt with grays.
Same.
And I have not seen any manted beings. However, when we were in the forest filming and I was doing the Estes method, I didn't hear a single voice. And while Merle was asking me the questions, I actually had this really bright white orb move up right into my on the left side of my eye to the point where my eye was squinting behind the blindfold. And at that exact same moment, they were filming a UFO above us of a white orb. But where it got strange for me is I all of a sudden started seeing in the blindfold, I started seeing alien gray heads and the eyes of reptilians. And I've never seen the eyes of reptilians before. And they were very bright colored, orange, yellow, green, like that, what do they call it? Like a snake, a really bright snake skin green. And it was actually quite impressive, but it intimidated me because I had never seen that before. And even though I'm in deprivation of eyesight, this was clear as day.
Now, are they the bad guys, Dave? Like the more negative ones?
I don't know. I mean, you were in the forest that day. It didn't feel negative.
Mm.
That's interesting. Yeah, it's sometimes hard to differentiate. You know, I feel like it is. For me, sometimes it can be hard to differentiate.
We've
I
been
agree.
we've been told before that when you're in the presence of them,
Mm-hmm.
the feeling, no matter if they're good or bad, you feel negative effects because they're not from this earth.
Yeah, the ions change, and it completely changes the whole field to negative, like a negative ion.
Yeah.
That makes sense. Changes the just I guess the atmosphere.
Mm-hmm.
Our bodies probably. Yeah, that makes absolute sense.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's just when you're around the species, I've never seen mantid beings. I've never seen humanoids. I may have, but I just have zero recollection of it.
Mm-hmm.
Does every different species have their own unique energy pattern, Cheyenne?
That's a really good question. I feel like it's all pretty baseline for me. The feeling that I experience. Yeah, the feeling that I experience, I feel like it's that same baseline feeling. So I don't think they
And
all have
how,
different
and,
patterns.
and how does that differ for you from what you do in everyday life?
It's almost like that, like I said, like a drop in your stomach, or like, ooh, something your what do they call it? Your higher power is telling you this is not normal from what you're used to. Even if you feel like a spirit compared to an alien, it's not normal. Because there's the feeling of here's basically a dead, like not a dead body, but a soul compared to a live being that's not from this planet.
Yeah, like I the energies are totally different between like I guess the ghosts and the alien stuff, and I think like when we got back from the CE5 night, I felt really well, not uneasy, but more a different energy feeling than I would if we were investigating a haunted location.
You feel super aware after because you feel like you have to be aware, and you're
Almost
just like,
like guilty aware. It's just a weird
mm,
feeling. Yeah, I don't know. It was weird.
Cheyenne, are you, or Shayla, I'll ask you this question. Are
Mhm.
you starting to believe as you investigate further? I mean, you started off as paranormal investigators, but now this high strangeness of 2023 that you've experienced, are you starting to believe then, like many people, the phenomena is all wrapped in one? There is no specific ghost hunting or UFO hunting or cryptid hunting or searching for consciousness. It's just all tied together. What's your thoughts on that now?
Yeah, we have
we've
always
always thought
said that.
We've always thought that from the beginning. That's why. Sorry, I didn't mean to just take over your.
Yeah, go ahead.
But like, yeah, it's just all inclusive. When we say paranormal, it's everything.
We're just trying to figure out how it is connected. That's what's so intriguing to me. Like, how does this all work?
Absolutely.
That's the main thing. I mean, but you take someone like Merle, okay? Merle loves his paranormal. He doesn't see the connections between the two. So how do you take somebody like Merle, not insulting him or anything on that, just using him as an example, but how do you take someone like Merle and convince him that the phenomena is intertwined with each other?
Yeah. We've even had this conversation. We try to not like pinhole ourselves with one specific topic. And I think that's why we try to hit so many different facets of the paranormal, because there's so much to it. It's not just ghosts. It's not just Bigfoots. It's not just aliens. Like there's so much to it. And there's so many cultures globally that, where do you even start?
I agree.
It's
So much.
4 minutes to go, Merle. What are your thoughts?
My thoughts, I agree with what Shayla's saying, that there's so many cultures, there's so many different things to explore and to experience in the paranormal realm. For me, I'm really enjoying the folklore. I'm enjoying a lot of the lore, and I'm enjoying a lot of the cryptid stuff, especially the indigenous stuff. That's super important to me to learn about that and then investigate about it and talk about it. And I think, like with the Paran Northwest and like the road trippers, I think that's where we vibe very well, because we really appreciate that stuff. And especially like with you, Dave, or these two here, you guys have opened my eyes with the alien stuff. And do I see it all being connected? I need convincing. I'm just being straight with y'all. But do I think they all exist in their own little pocket? Absolutely. But I guess I don't see the bigger picture of the massive or the connection between them. And that, I guess maybe that's what we'll learn in 2024. The year
Makes
of
a
the
lot of sense.
connection.
Is it just your own want and need, Merle, to have the topics separated or segregated?
Probably, because that's how my brain works. I need, like, being honest. Everything in my brain is separated, and I deal with everything separate. It's probably because I've been doing my same job for 21 years, and that's how I operate at work. So I think that has bled into my personal life and because I look at investigating in my head as I do as investigating things at work. I can't differentiate it. You have a goal, you have a plan, you have an investigation, you have a solution. And I have a problem always finding that solution. And I think that's what I'm looking for. What kind of solution, we don't know. But that's what we're doing.
Ladies, what's up next for you?
We're just trying to get this podcast back up
Yeah,
and running.
we really
That's
are.
the main goal.
Yep.
So it should be coming back soon.
I mean, it is winter time, so maybe contacting the spirit of Santa.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Something like that.
You know he's still alive, right? He's
100%.
Oh, yeah.
I'm looking at him, Dave Scott. No,
He didn't know. I think that's funny.
no, it's fine.
Well played, Cheyenne. You waited to fire back at him. No, I'm kidding.
I know. No. It was the beard.
It's always the beard.
We love it. It looks great on you.
It does.
Dave,
I know
give it a good tug. You haven't had a beard in a while like that. There we go. Give it a grope. There it is.
That is thick.
It's warm.
Oh, yeah. Well, we can always put some beard oil on it, too, because Merle will never know what this is like.
I'm man enough, bro. We don't need a beard. We got stubble.
Yeah, you just keep on believing that, Big Nuts. We can continue on. You just continue believing that.
What is that? Winter mint or sage mystical?
This is
Cypress.
Winter Blend.
Okay, of course it
Winter
is.
Blend from the Mighty Moose Beard Oil Company.
Mighty
Oh,
Moose.
good now.
Look
Beautiful.
at that.
Wow.
Beautiful. Look at the sheen, people. Look at the sheen.
Oh, Saint Nick over there.
Yes. Yes. Paran Northwest, do me a favor. Tell everybody where they could find more information on your group.
You can find us on Instagram at the Paran Northwest. You can shoot us an email at the Paran Northwest
Team.
team@gmail.com.
And you can find us on Facebook at the Paran Northwest.
My man Merle.
You
We'll
can
talk to you
find.
soon.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, you can find me on Instagram. But Dave, I'll talk to you soon. Okay.
Yeah. I was going to say you can find your YouTube channel where?
On YouTube, the Paranormal Road Trippers.
That's why he's our main man, Merle, right there, people. Not a man of many words, but a man of many actions.
Okay.
Goes to the Great White North with Merle. And we say hello to Shayla and Cheyenne and good night to them. Steve Stockton is next to kick off hour number 3. Then Courtney Marcassani talks some UFOs on the reports. You're going to want to listen to Courtney in just a little bit. She is the brains of the UFO operation.
Nice.
Yes. Anyways, guys, Merle, I'll call you tomorrow.
Sounds great. That was a good show.
Oh, we're done.
It was solid. Solid. We are done.
Thank
Weird.
you.
Yeah, thank you for having us on.
Ladies, love it when you're on. You guys have an open invite.
Well, thank you.
Yeah,
We
thank you.
appreciate it. We
We
want to
know,
pick your
we
brain one
know.
of these days.
Just get my number from Merle and call. That's all
Okay.
you need to do. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Will
We,
do.
we're going to try and get out into Nevada. We really
Good.
are.
We want to
That's
see you
gonna
there.
be fun.
We
All
want to
right.
see you there, and our guests would love it, and our listeners would love that too.
Yeah.
We'll talk soon, guys. Take
All
care.
right.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. Red hot Merle peppers. There he goes. I'll be right back, guys. By the way, this shirt that I'm wearing, this is from Aussie Ange's gym in Australia. Yeah. Yeah. So if Aussie Ange, if you're watching, I got your shirt on. I do. Big thank you tonight to Louis ×2, Toe Tag, and Jenny for the amazing super chats. Very much appreciate it. And of course, guys, you're going to want to now start to sign up for Reno. We want to know how many people are coming. We're giving you lots of time, lots of opportunity. I know Christmas is around the corner. Okay. I know that. But you're going to want to join us in Reno, May 10th through 12th at the 3rd annual fan party. We do it all for you guys. We do it all for you. And one of you will walk away that weekend with this gorgeous beard. One of you will walk away with this gorgeous beard. Yeah. I'm going to grow it until Reno. How about that? By the way, book your hotel today, as rooms are at their cheapest right now. Silver Legacy Casino and Resort. Here we go.
Would you like to connect with us? Head to spacedoutradio.com for all your latest show info. Now, back to Dave Scott and SOR.
Third and final hour of Spaced Out Radio is now underway. Thank you for joining us. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears wherever you are on this beautiful planet we call Earth. Hello to everyone listening in on our terrestrial affiliates around North America, digitally on Odyssey Radio, TalkStream Live, and KPNL. All of our archives are free. You could join us at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. Do me the favor, hit that subscribe button. The Desert Clam has set the password for tonight in the SOR Space Travelers Club. YATE. YATE is your password. Use it wisely, Space Travelers, as the Clam sets the password each and every night right here on Spaced Out Radio. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bubblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram at Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can join us on Patreon in the SOR Space Travelers Club. It is that time of the night where we say hello to Steve Stockton from the YouTube channel Among the Missing for another creepy story.
Hello, friends. Welcome to Among the Missing YouTube channel on Spaced Out Radio. I'm Steve Stockton, and I'm about to take you on an unbelievable journey of people just like you. Their stories and encounters will haunt us on Among the Missing.
Next up, we have George Penka, who went missing from Yosemite in 2011. On June 17, 2011, 30-year-old George Penka went on a hike with about 20 members of his church group on the Upper Yosemite Falls Trail. During the trip back, he separated from the group, and the other members assumed he had gone ahead. However, when he failed to return, he was reported missing. The weather conditions during the weekend were mild, with overnight temperatures above 40 degrees Fahrenheit. A team of approximately 105 search and rescue personnel from various parts of the state, along with search dogs and a dozen helicopters, conducted a full-scale search to find George. The search efforts were continuous and extensive, but unfortunately, they yielded no results. After searching for almost a week, no clues were found regarding George's whereabouts. The officials sadly announced they would reduce the search to limited, continuous mode. Since his disappearance, his bank account has remained unused, and no trace of his bag, clothes, or remains have been found. The authorities have not released any evidence of foul play. George remains missing, and if you have any information to share, you're asked to please contact the National Park Service tip line at 888-653-0009. Next up, Peter Jackson, who disappeared in 2016. On September 17, 2016, Peter Jackson, a 74-year-old avid hiker in exceptional physical health sent a text message to his son stating he was on his way to Yosemite National Park. He set up camp at White Wolf Campground and paid for his reservation through September 21 when he planned to return home. Peter planned to spend several days camping at the White Wolf Campground and take some day hikes into the California wilderness. His scheduled departure from the campground was on September 21, 2016, but he never checked out. On September 26, Peter was reported missing. The last contact he had with anyone was on September 17 when he texted his son about his plans. His vehicle was located at the campground. A search was conducted to find Peter, but on October 2, 2016, the search was placed in continuous limited mode due to a lack of new clues and incoming inclement weather. Scott Getteman, a park spokesperson, said, "Unfortunately, we have not been able to locate Mr. Jackson. We've had an active search effort with search dogs, airplanes, a lot of folks on the trail. We have not found him." In August 2019, Peter's backpack was found in the Ackerson Meadow Aspen Valley area on the west side of Yosemite National Park. Unfortunately, Peter has never been found. Anyone with any information is asked to please contact the National Park Service tip line at 888-653-0009. And lastly, Joel Thomason, who went missing in 2021. Joel Thomason, a 31-year-old hiker and Army reservist, started a solo hiking trip on September 6, 2021. He planned to hike from Hetch Hetchy to Lake Eleanor for fishing and return to Hetch Hetchy by September 9, 2021. However, it is possible that he decided to prolong his trip to Cherry Lake or explore the north or east areas of the Grand Canyon of the Tuolumne River. A park ranger saw him on the first day of his hike near a steep section of O'Shaughnessy Dam, which is believed to be the last known sighting of Joel. When Joel was 2 days overdue from his trip, he was declared missing by park officials. Search efforts included National Park Service officials, helicopters, kayaks, boats, and search dogs. Missing person flyers were also posted along highways 108 and 395. In October 2021, the search was reduced to a continuous, limited mode. Joel's father, Stephen, believed he may have gone off trail because of his military background and familiarity with the area. Joel's best friend had recently passed away, and when another friend passed away in a fishing accident, Joel also went backpacking to clear his head. Stephen Thomason said he was looking forward to going out to seek God and to talk to God. From his history of doing that when one of his friends passed away, it wasn't odd, it wasn't out of character, and it wasn't out of depression. Joel has never been found, and a memorial service was held for him on December 4, 2021. If you have any information regarding Joel's disappearance, please contact the National Park Service tip line at 888-653-0009.
And we say thank you to Steve Stockton for an incredible report on Among the Missing on the YouTube channel, Among the Missing. Make sure you go hit subscribe and ring that bell to that channel. And you get dozens of stories just like that each and every night. And they're all free for you. From the missing to the mysterious, it is that time of the night where we say hello to Courtney Marcassani and the UFO Report.
Nobody's going to know. They're going to know.
Good evening, Courtney. We'll get you to unmute your microphone, and that way you could join us, and we can hear that lovely voice of yours as we tune on in for another UFO report. I thought this week was going to be a little bit quiet, but it's sure not being that way at all, is it?
No, it's just rapid fire with all the stuff that's coming out. I was just watching videos of Sean Kilpatrick, Sean Harris. They just did this recent talk. So I was trying to listen to as much as that as I could before I got on, but I didn't get through the whole thing. So yeah, it's breakneck speed.
Right on. I mean, the news always seems to right now follow Sean Kirkpatrick as he gets close to his end of days as the head of Arrow. And of course, David Grush. Do we see a day soon, and maybe I'm being hypothetical here, that all of a sudden we're going to get new topics?
Yes, there's going to be breaking topics really soon. I'm making that prediction just based off of an educated guess, looking at a lot of the intelligence sources that are coming out saying that they have contacts inside the intelligence community, saying that 2024 is being ramped up really fast, and it's out of, to some degree, the US government's control because of what's going on in the Middle East. So I kind of said that a little bit on the last interview in the news that we had. And then here we see in Weaponized that they shot down a UAP over Syria. But then when you read the report, they don't actually say where it was located. And so there's a whole Five Eyes report that goes with that that says that it wasn't located. So you have to read, once again, really closely what's coming out.
All right. Well, let's get to that story because, this comes out from Weaponized, and there is a photo of this weird looking craft, if we could call it that. And to describe it, it almost looks like it's in different pieces. It was intercepted by the Royal Air Force of the United Kingdom and then reported to the Five Eyes in the Middle East. The one thing that I don't like about this, okay, is once again the vagueness of where it happened, how it happened. We know it happened over Syria, but that's all we're getting, Courtney.
Yeah, and I think that the interesting thing is that this is the first combatant shot down by the RAF. I think it was listed as 40 years. And so this is a huge deal. This is a huge international deal. It's another country, an ally, shooting down a UAP. We've shot down the balloons recently. And so the other thing in the report that I thought was really interesting, analyzing the weaponized information, is that there is this huge uptick in the last 6 years of UAP sightings. That's another thing that people can take away from analyzing this information, is there's more UAP in these militarized areas. So that's concerning. It's really concerning.
Why are we seeing an uptick, in your opinion, over the last 30 years of UFOs, UAPs, whatever we want to call them, in battle zones, in war zones?
Because I think the tech that's being used in the war zones, in the battle zones, Israel has Iron Dome. So that's one of the real progressive forms of, anti-ballistic defenses. And plus there's this new tech that Israel is looking at called the Iron Beam, which uses lasers. So anybody who's read Tom DeLonge's information, that will smack at familiar stories that were fictionalized, where lasers have been used to bring down these UAP craft. So I think that's one of the other reasons, because they are using advanced weaponry like lasers that are influencing the UAP.
Okay, so the idea that we are seeing this, what's the chances that a lot of this is actual American technology that is being hidden out at Area 51?
Yeah,
I remember one source telling me, sent me a text message, and literally this was right after the conflict between Israel and Hamas. And he said to me, watch, within 5 days, there is going to be a UFO report.
Ooh.
And 4 days later, not 5, 4 days later, there were UFO reports coming out of Israel.
Well, have you seen the most recent US tech, the B-21 Raider? I mean, have you looked at the images, the cockpit? From what I understand, the B-21 Raider is run by a computer. And so this tech, this next generation tech, the stuff that we're not even seeing, and now looking at the B-20 Raider, there's not a lot of, as I understand it from military people, that it's changing the way flying is being done in the cockpit. It's changing the way pilots are being responsive. The computers are involved, probably a lot of AI. So yes, I think of a lot of it is next gen tech. And so I think that's going to prompt responses. You see other governments in the article that you and I were reading from the Liberation Times. It's talking specifically about Canada and the Canadian Minister of Defense coming out and having a response. And so I think all these other countries are having to respond to the U.S. technology in these war and defense zones, being prepared for what's to come.
Well, I mean, the idea is, though, will the U.S. actually give up that's their tech? You know, like the UFOs that were spotted over the hot spots of the battle between Ukraine and Russia earlier this year. Where did those
I
come
think
from?
they're going to have to. I think they're going to have to some degree. Obviously, they're not going to give up everything, because that's what this whole UFO battle is all about, right? Is the technology and who wants it and what we have and how far advanced it is. And there's so much secrecy. There's no way they're going to release everything. But I think in certain high threat areas where the technology is being used, they will have to tell the Five Eyes communities amounts of information about tech to prevent a full-scale war happening.
Well, you know what? I mean, we also have to look at it too. Excuse me. The U.S. has been playing with stealth technology since the 1960s, late 50s. The SR-71 and the U-2 were the first two spy planes that had stealth technology on them. And then we end up learning in the 70s about the F-117 stealth fighter. That's when it was created. We learn about the B-2, the B-1, which came out with pseudo-stealth technology. And we learn all of this. And then the next gen of fighters, F-22, F-35, stealth fighters, both of them. And to combat that, both Russia and China come out in the last 10 years with their own stealth programs.
Well, did you see recently in the US, I think it was an F-35 that went down over the
Yes.
Carolinas, and they couldn't find it because it was a next-gen stealth. And the pilot ejects, thank God. I mean, I don't mean to laugh, because the pilot was, safe, but they didn't find the plane, and I didn't see the results of that. So I think these haphazard things and the tech going wrong, because I don't think they have it all engineered perfectly. And obviously we see this news report of a stealth fighter going down and they can't find it. And you see the government representatives coming out going, how much money was spent on this? And it's lost. And so there's these things that happen that show us what the tech capabilities are, but then there's also issues around it. So I think that's another reason why more information will come out, because of these kind of incidents that everybody either sees or there's witnesses. And so the US will have to report it, but you see that they didn't come out and they didn't go into detail about it. So it's going to be more of the same. It's going to be more of the same. Like, yes, we have this type of stealth, and then it'll just drop off and be nothing. And so the public will be left with, well, how far does this go? How much were we involved in this? Were there, casualties? Were there witnesses? I think that will go on. I mean, not in perpetuity, because eventually, if there is a war and things do escalate, more will come out. It'll have to come out what they use in the battlefield.
Well, the other thing that I've learned is with Russia and China the last 10 years just coming out with their stealth programs. If we've been working on this, or the Americans have been working on this for the last 60 years, where are they now? Stealth would be passé. They would be fully beyond. And as one person told me, do we really think the United States military is scared of China and Russia outside of the people, because they have the people? But air-wise and technology-wise, the Americans are 60 years ahead. Think about that.
No, I don't think the US is afraid of what they have, but I do think they are compromised when it comes to using chips from China using different types of tech that is, being installed. I mean, you saw that report from, this is really concerning, from the company Huawei. They had an executive that was actually in Canada. I think she was in Toronto, and she was extradited because she was involved with using different types of chips or different types of tech in the US telecom industry. And so she got extradited because she was doing a bunch of illegal stuff, and the US was purchasing all this stuff from China that was eventually going to affect our telecom grid and cellular service, and all of that could have been shut down by the Chinese. So there is a complex relationship between US technology and how we're outsourcing, getting our equipment and using in our infrastructure in China, most definitely. Now, Russia, not so much, but the Russians and the Chinese are hacking us all the time. They hacked Colonial Pipeline. I heard recently that somebody has hacked our federal communications system. So there's a bug in our federal communication system where they went out and did the emergency broadcasting test recently. This was like a month ago. But before that, even radio stations were given the test, and some of them didn't receive it. So somebody hacked our federal communication system because some radio stations didn't get the emergency broadcasting, and they were going to send out a patch. They were going to send out a patch to fix it. And then they did the EMS again last month, and some radio stations got it and some didn't. So that is highly concerning because on some level, they are getting through. They are breaking through. So I think the US is really concerned about those issues, the advancements in hacking into our systems and getting into our systems. Now, I heard something very interesting along that lines. Now, this wasn't Bob McGuire, but it was somebody who had a conversation with Bob McGuire talking about the intelligence, right? The UAP intelligence also having that same kind of effect with AI into our communication systems. So once again, you see, defense related issues and defense matters, and also this overlay of the UAP issue. And the US government doesn't want people to know that. They don't want to know that people to know that we're weak in our defenses, especially not in our communications.
Oh, very true. Very true. As we have a couple minutes to go before we go to the break at the bottom of the hour, UFO report with Courtney Marcassani. Back to UFOs that are being seen in war zones. On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being high, 1 being low, do you think that we're not seeing UFOs, but man-made UAP in these areas where it's giving countries like the U.S. an insight on what is going on in the battlefields, with not only with what American troops are doing, but what other people are using and fighting for as well?
I think it's high. I think it's high that the U.S. tech is maybe being perceived as UAPs, but I think UAPs are also there, and it's because of what I mentioned earlier. I think the Israeli converting over their Iron Dome to Iron Beam as an anti-ballistic military defense system, and that weaponry and that new weaponry is bringing UAPs. I think they're being concerned about that. And I think that they've showed up in other ways like that when nuclear, they've been baited, by nuclear things being moved, assets being moved. And so I think it's a similar thing where this Iron Beam and use of it is causing alarm by the UAPs. But I definitely think the US next gen tech is there too, being misread as a UAP.
Yeah, I think so too. And I think that's more so what we are seeing happen within the UFO world. I mean, just look at those helicopters that took out Osama bin Laden. They were destroyed right after, and those helicopters no longer exist. Okay, there were apparently as little as 4 of them and as many as 6 of them. Multi-millions of dollars thrown into the scrap shredder because the job was done. How many times has that happened? These black triangles or these giant orbs that are seen over battlefields, are they ours? Are they not? We really do not know. But we do know this, that after the break, Courtney will be with us for more of the UFO report, where we're going to get into who knows, probably some David Grush and Lieutenant Ryan Graves, who is on the Tamron Hall show talking UFOs. Yeah, we'll get to that one next. I want to get some thoughts from Courtney on this. Spaced Out Radio continues with the UFO report right after this. Stay tuned. That's a good start.
Geek out.
Totally geeked out.
Geek out. I'm such a nerd. It's one of my favorite topics, though. And I have to say, after this, I'm heading down to the airport in Philadelphia. It takes me 3 hours to drive down there to fly out to San Francisco to the West Coast to go to the Soul Foundation Conference Symposium.
Nice.
It's a symposium. So, yeah, hopefully I'll be able to do some nice reporting for you from the Soul Foundation Symposium.
When is that symposium?
It's Friday and Saturday, so I would be able to do a report for you on the West Coast at a normal hour on Friday night. So yeah, that's exciting. There's going to be a lot of. I'm interested to see who's there. There was only 200 slots, 200 people invited.
Wow. Yeah, I would like to see that too. How did you get a ticket?
It was through an invitation that came through a friend, because I had sent in an invitation and I, like many other people, hadn't heard anything. And then the friend was like, "Oh, I'm so excited to see you out there." And I was like, "Eh." And then some strings were pulled. So, and I don't even know what strings were pulled. So I'm just very grateful, very grateful that my friends helped me out, and I'll be in the room and I'll try not to be obnoxious so they don't kick me out.
Right. Right.
Yeah, they're going to be like, "Watch that one, behave, make her behave."
Yeah. I love the conferences. Trying to figure out who's a spy and who's not.
Oh, there might just be regular old intelligence community people there that are just out, that are just part of,
Yep.
part of the IC, and that's what they do. I don't know. I will be watching, looking and seeing what's what. I'm really interested in their question about commercialization of, this whole issue and how to raise money, how to do pilot projects, because I have a couple pilot projects in mind. So I'd like to see who's doing funding and how they're talking about getting funding for certain things.
Mm-hmm. That would be interesting to find out.
Yeah, well, I've tried to get money before, mainly from Bigelow. I've thrown my hat in the ring trying to get money, but I was unsuccessful in both my tries of getting money. So it's okay. It's good to keep your edge and stay in the game and see what's coming next. Because he's now moving into the afterlife. Have you seen that? He did an interview about he's out of UAP topics pretty much. I think he feels like he got his answers. And now he's in the afterlife, and he's going to start a school with psychics and mediums in Nevada using the old, I don't know if it's using the old Bass building, if they're going to buy another building, but they're going to start a school.
I love it.
I think it's interesting, don't you, that he's going in that direction?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, there's so many rumors about why, about why he keeps doing it. And the rumor I keep hearing, I'm not sure if you've heard it or not, but the rumor that I keep hearing is that Bigelow was so devastated over his son leaving this planet that he's trying to figure out ways to recommunicate 100% with his son, or to help try and find out where his son is so he can go there.
Well, I think that that's definitely part of it. And because of the loss and the grief, it does make a lot of sense. Anybody who's lost anybody can know that you feel that longing to reconnect. And I do think that he probably had, through those years of grief and loss, probably some accurate information come through, because he was friends with Leslie Kean, and she wrote a book about psychics and the phenomenon. And then it goes back, one of the pickups that I had, this isn't about Bob Bigelow, but it was about Whitley Strieber's book that he wrote And this was after Diana Pasulka wrote American Cosmic. He came out and talked about similar themes, but he went into the afterlife. Whitley did, because they received all these letters, him and his wife Anne, from people who had UFO sightings and UFO experiences and contact experiences, and the afterlife was part of it. And Anne picked up on that and said, I'm not sure what's going on, but a lot of these people are talking about sightings of departed loved ones during their other experiences, their UFO contact experiences. So there's a connection there. And I think Bob Bigelow probably made the same connection in his own work, in his research.
All right, I'm going to get you to hold on there and say thank you to Louis ×3, Toe Tag, and Jenny for the super chats tonight. Thank you to everyone who's new here, and hit that thumbs up and hit subscribe. Here we go. Here we go with the final half hour of Spaced Out Radio tonight. Thank you so much for tuning us on in. My name is Dave Scott. Very much appreciate earning your listening ears. Reminder to all of you that if you missed most of this show or others, our archives are always free for you at youtube.com/Spaced Out Radio. You can find us on Spotify, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and every major podcast network that is out there. Our website, spacedoutradio.com. We have a plethora of features for you. Rock out to Bumblefoot, read the news wire, check out our swag as well. Follow us on Twitter at Spaced Out Radio, Instagram, Spaced Out Radio Show, and you can join the Space Travelers Club on Patreon. We continue with the UFO report. Courtney Marcassani is here. And once again, Ryan Graves, the former fighter pilot, is back in the news. This time, he was on the popular Tamron Hall show, apparently breaking his silence about his UFO sightings by testifying at the congressional UFO hearings. And he had a lot to say about this. Ryan Graves is popping up everywhere regarding this topic, Courtney. Is he doing it because of the subject that he's an eyewitness, he's a former fighter pilot, he's a handsome man, okay?
Handsome man.
You know, the reason why I asked that, I have a lot, and this is nothing personal against Ryan Graves, okay? But I have a lot of issues with his movement of in the disclosure for dollars process, okay? With his fear-mongering company that he has about UAPs being threats and trying to put this all together. I don't know if this is somebody I like being the face of the UFO franchise. Although everything I've heard about the man, you meet him, you love him forever. He is a good guy. What's your thoughts overall?
Well, he is a handsome man. Let's just face it. You know, he is, he's very bright. He has a nice personality. I have met him personally. I met him in New York in the spring. I mean, it feels like a year ago, but it was in the spring at the Inquirer Anomalous conference in New York City. And he was there as a speaker. It's interesting because he's military minded, right? And so his context of his sightings and his experiences was through a military. It was a training run, right? Didn't they have a sighting off of the East Coast on a military training run and they showed up? And so I think his mind was opened. I think he did have an experience, but I think it is in the context of the military. And really that whole military belief system is like a tribal, it's very much a tribal group think system with the military. You know, you can't depart out of that much, even though if you have your own feelings about something, and even if you were changed and had a life-changing experience, you really can't step much out of the military line. So I think some part of that is his training and the fact that he's limited because he's a military person and a pilot. But I also think that with him trying to elevate UAPs, it's in the safety silo. And so you're not going to see much about After Effects or other things. You're mostly going to see nuts and bolts. And so he's just sticking to that playbook. And I think that's his thing. So I don't think that he's somebody that I didn't know about the dollars and making money. I mean, obviously he was at Inquirer Anomalous. I don't know if he got paid or not. You have more of an inside track with some of that, of what people are getting
Well,
paid.
what I have heard, okay, and by the way, I am going to confirm something here. The other night, I made a mistake saying that I had heard that David Grush was charging $3,000 to $5,000. I know an insider close to Grush who I asked that question to yesterday to get confirmation,
Yeah.
and he stated that no, David Grush is not taking money on the side to do interviews. So
I'm glad you asked, and I'm glad that you followed up and fact checked that, because that just sounded alarming. And it also is a conflict. It's a direct conflict with the way that he has presented material. So that was something that was concerning to me when you said it. And I wanted to follow up on it too. I'm glad that you did, because,
yeah,
you know, he was a government employee and, you know, got paid. And, you know, as a whistleblower, you know, he is showing his story, and what he encountered in the programs really is doing it for the public interest to get the information out there. So if you see that, and then all of a sudden you see all this acceptance of money for talking and speaking events, it just goes in direct contradiction with what what his values,
yeah.
what he says his values are.
But with Ryan Graves, number one, he never witnessed anything with his eyes. The radar witnessed it. Number two, he has started a company that is hoping to get government contracts to take the UAP threat narrative seriously. And he's, you know, that's his fight.
They are taking it seriously. I mean, that goes without saying. But that's his caveat. Yes, I could see that.
But let's also remember, Courtney, okay, the one thing we know about the United States military and their contractors is the more the threat level is pushed, the more zeros come on the end of those budgets that are handed out and those dollars that are handed out.
Yes.
And I can see, and I'm not saying Ryan Graves is doing it for the money, okay, but I could see him being part of the disclosure for dollars movement, because you don't start up a company not wanting to make money.
I have to tread really carefully, because I know some stuff about Ryan Graves, and I know some of the behind the scenes stuffs that have happened recently, which is, it's tenuous. It's a tenuous situation, but you know, he was involved with IAA and that whole organization, and there were so many volunteers involved with it, right? And really doing excellent work about commercial pilot reporting, about safety, about safe aerospace. And so that organization was already established, and he was involved in it. And then that there was an implosion that happened. And I can't go into any more detail, but just to say that he wants to put all of his eggs more in the safe aerospace basket. And I know, and I mentioned this, that he asked for Jay Stratton to come in and help him out because of what's going on. So I think that I think right now he's in a period of transition, trying to work that out and make safe aerospace more solid and concrete organization, and probably as a funding. I wasn't thinking about that, but probably as a funding mechanism. That would make sense.
You know, the thing for me is, you know, and I've talked to Lou Elizondo about this, and one thing I talked to Lou about, I said, in the downfall of the To the Stars Academy, Elizondo stated to me one of the biggest, this is in a private conversation, but nothing I can't share. He said one of the biggest mistakes the To the Stars Academy made was that they ignored the power of the UFO community. They were going to show us how it got done. They were going to teach us. So the 40 years of Richard Dolan, the 50 years of Stanton Friedman, the 50 years of Grant Cameron and Linda Moulton Howe, and all the old timers that have been around forever doing this, they were going to make sure that ufology got shut up.
Yeah, got put down.
That they knew how to do it right. And to this day, Elizondo will state, if you talk to him, one of the biggest regrets they had was that they pushed the UFO community away. Their own open source of support they shoved away because they knew better. And I kind of see Ryan Graves going down that same road because he's not associating with people within the UFO community, even after people in the UFO community warned him about the Mexico thing with Jaime Maussan and the bodies. And he didn't listen, and he had to retract his statement about going because he knew that conference with the Peruvian dolls made him look like a fool.
Oh, well, that would just be the utter humiliation and embarrassment. You know, if what you're saying is true, is that he wants to be that next level rise up to professionalism and credibility and accountability.
All right, Courtney is frozen up at this time due to Starlink. This usually takes about 30 seconds.
Well, you know, I
There
was
she
just
is.
thinking to myself, you know, hey, we're rocking, and then it fizzles out on me. But what I was saying is that's a huge controversy for him. It's the things that he would want to stay away from. And so I think that that's why Jay Stratton was offered to come in and step in, and why he chose to help out is for that reason, to maintain Ryan's credibility, to take that organization to the next level, obviously with support, professional support. So now we'll get to see the way they really want to move. And I think that's what was an interesting pickup that I had when I was listening to this Hayden Center interview with Sean Harris and Sean Kilpatrick. You know, Sean Kilpatrick basically said that he has started up, basically like done a government startup on over 10 different organizations. And so I didn't know that about him. And so I think it is hard to have a startup. And there are certain people who have kind of that turnkey mentality to start something up and plug into defense and other beltway contractors or other beltway organizations that have money. So we'll be able to see that. We'll be able to clearly see that through the next, 5 years watching ASA, if they maintain their organization, if they can even keep it alive. We'll see.
Right. I'm not like, and trust me when I say this, I'm not trying to say Ryan Graves is a bad guy. Okay. I'm not saying that whatsoever. I just wish people like Ryan would, and I'm going to point him out here for a second, would stop looking at ufology and the people involved with it as secondary people to the topic at hand. And a lot of government people and a lot of government scientists have that attitude that people within this community are idiots. Okay. And are people who are not wanting to, they don't want to associate with because of the tinfoil and the lack of science and too much woo. Okay. And I see Ryan kind of falling into that category because he doesn't do a lot of radio shows or podcasts regarding this. He doesn't take a lot of emails and doesn't respond to a lot of people regarding media requests. And I know we've tried.
I was just going to ask, have you outreached to him? And
yeah, a couple of times.
And he said no. Or he was just unavailable.
Just hasn't responded.
Okay, gotcha.
Right.
All right. Well, I think that one of the things that's really interesting about him is that he did do Inquire Anomalous, and Inquire Anomalous accepts all topics, and they bring in the woo, and you can't deny the woo. It's part of the data set for UAP stuff, because when you have encounters and you talk to the people who testify and have been witnesses, it's usually part of it. And so it's interesting because a lot of the sciences and the scientists in that community acknowledge it. High level people, credible people. And so I think that he has dabbled, obviously, because he was in New York with Leslie Kean, and she's a big proponent of that. She at least talks about the subject matter seriously, in a serious light. And so he was also there with, J. Christopher King and James. And so he is surrounded by, at least in that context, he was surrounded by people who have that as part of their topics and their subject matters. So I don't know if he's completely abhorrent, like he thinks it's an abhorrent topic. I don't know that, but he was there. Now, one of the people that I really felt was doing a disservice to the UFO community was Kurt Jaimungal. I was offended as somebody who went to New York to have a whole diverse range of topics, and he just spun his wheels when he was asked about experiencer topics and what experiences they are having. He just wouldn't go there. And so I felt that was a major step back by somebody who's been very public facing about this issue, because he wouldn't even comment on it. And he, like I said, he spun his wheels for a while. So it was a time waster. Now, I haven't seen Ryan do that, but maybe it's because he doesn't accept those questions at all. But I want to go back to your earlier point. How did TTSA expect to get funded when it was actually that UFO community that would be a large piece of their support?
Exactly.
They were the ones that were going to spend money. We're the ones that are going to spend money on a TTSA like foundation or organization to look into the tech, because we're the people that are interested in the topic.
It was an oversight in their meetings, and somebody, as I said in my report that I wrote on 14 reasons why I believe that I never supported the TTSA, somebody liked to play rock star a little too much. Okay. And when rock star attitude came out, people, because you're so used to being at a high level, okay, going below you is very tough. Okay. And that's the way the TTSA started, was like a rock band.
With the stage and the chairs and the step up to the microphone. I mean, it was like, oh, serious. Take this seriously, which so many people did.
We were the first ones to report that in that press conference, there was no press there. It was a pressless press conference. And we were the first ones to report that publicly. And as a media member, I found that to be my first red flag of the To the Stars Academy.
Well, it was right. It was closed, but it had the appearance of being a press junket or a press, a press conference. And so I don't know if that was an illusion that was intended to make that level of integrity and seriousness be jumped up for people to have that illusion, or if it just wasn't considered. I'm sure it was, because you're talking about, like you said, a major rock star who's doing a lot of the media, because that's what he's about, right? That's why they published the books with AJ Hartley and all that, to do media and entertainment. And that was his thing. And then they came out with the show and the History Channel. And so media was obviously a huge part of what they wanted to do. They just didn't want to have the media there. They wanted to control that aspect of it. So that is very interesting.
4 minutes to go here before we got to call it the night. And Courtney, if you want, you can stick around for a little after hours on our YouTube channel. But I'll leave that to you. David Grush was supposed to go into a skiff this weekend. I have had it confirmed that skiff has been canceled. The date I'm hearing is December 7th, but that it had nothing to do with David Grush. It had everything to do with another piece of legislation that was not voted on.
Yeah.
And that's why the delay had to happen. Your thoughts?
That's American politics. I mean, they approved this amendment for him to be able to get into the skiff.
And now he cannot. No, he cannot, because another amendment hasn't been voted on. So apparently they are delaying his latest one until December 7th. You were saying, Courtney?
I was just saying there were some issues around money and him traveling, and that's what I had heard. And not from his community, but just in the regular community. He couldn't go and get to the skiff because it was about money. And so that's a part of it, to get money. But the second part of it is to release the security access. And so it was two parts. And so I think that the other part of it was he was probably preparing for San Francisco. I mean, he's going to be there this weekend. So like you said, it wasn't maybe because of him, it's because of US politics, which is insane right now. US politics is insane right now. I mean, it is. It's at a level where nothing's getting done. We can't even pass an appropriations package and get a speaker of the House because we're so divided right now. So I'm not surprised.
Well, I'm not surprised either, on a number of reasons. But there's a lot of tinfoilers out there who are believing that we knew this was going to get canceled. We knew it wasn't ready. We knew. And I think it's more hopeful than wishful thinking than anything else. But
yeah, I'm feeling really down about it too. I'm really feeling like he's not going to get in the skiff at this point. Other people were feeling really positive about it. I think I said that on our first show. A lot of people have been feeling positive about it, that they raised this and got support, in the Congress. And I was just like, I didn't feel as positive about it as other people did in the community. And I don't want to be a downer, but it's been a major blockade. When you hear the Department of Defense come out and say no more hearings, they're going to do everything possible that they can to prevent him from getting in a skiff.
Why do they not want him in a skiff?
Because he had access to some of the programs. I mean, there's inklings of
Geez, Starlink is not liking her tonight. Not liking her whatsoever.
Damn it. I don't know why that's
There
happening.
you go. We got you, dear. 30 seconds.
Because he put the information out there on how to track things, just the first couple of steps. And if he gets in the skiff, he's going to break that open wider and give actual access to things that they can get more. They don't want that.
Another great one from you, Courtney, tonight. Another great one. And I want to say a big thank you for coming on Spaced Out Radio, and safe travels all the way to California into San Francisco, which is a beautiful airport.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Thanks for having me on SOR. I think there's a lot of incredible things breaking right now for the news program.
Well, we're going to keep pushing because that's what we do around here is push. Because we have to.
Yes.
We have to make sure that we're keeping the news accountable for our Spaced Out Radio listeners who actually care about the UFO topic. Exactly.
I care. I care.
I care too. Courtney, thank you for your time. And like I said, we're going to do a little bit of after hours on our YouTube channel. So if you want to stick around, you're more than welcome. We got Mr. Ron Bumblefoot Thal rocking in the background with Little Brother is Watching. Bumblefoot is the official music of Spaced Out Radio, rocking us in and out of every single show. Get your horns up for the guitar god of self. Special thanks to everybody listening in at home, at work, in your cars, wherever you may be. Thank you to everyone in our chat rooms tonight. YouTube, Twitch, LGM, Facebook, Spreaker, LinkedIn, the Space Travelers Club, and on Twitter at hashtag Spaced Out Radio. Remember, this show is copyright by Spaced Out Radio and SOR Media Ventures Limited. Thank you so much for choosing to share your evening with us, because together, my friends, we're watching. We own the night. Mr. Bumblefoot, we need a favor. We need you to take us home. Yes, the Woo train has docked for the night. But soon, my friends, we shall ride again. Your seats are always available. Your tickets never expire. And if you want to bring a friend, we've got room for them too. Good night. What a show.
Yeah, well, I haven't shared my concern about, going into San Francisco, but I mean, it is a beautiful place, but it's a bit hostile right now. So I have to be a little bit clandestine in my movements.
Well, just remember, Always sidestep twice.
Well, and I want to complain. I mean, I don't want to put a complaint into you against the Canadian government, but you know what? They took my taser away from me when I passed through the border to go up to Alaska. They're like, "Do you have any weapons?" And I was like, "I do have a taser." And they're like, "Pull over." So I go in, and it's "Hail to the Queen" and all that. And I surrendered my taser at the border in, like, I don't know, Havre, Montana. I was so bummed.
I think
So I won't be traveling with a taser to San Francisco.
I think you can get it back though.
Really?
Yeah.
Well, my sister gave it to me because one of her friends gave it to her, and Heather knew I was going cross country, and she's like, "You need a taser." So yeah, I never got a replacement.
Just carry bear spray.
That's a good idea. And
Yeah.
use karate.
Use your karate.
Jump, leap on top of people. Yeah, it's just a very violent thing right now in San Francisco. So I'm going into that a little bit, on edge. I mean, I'm happy that I'm going to the Soul Foundation thing, but the whole environment is just kind of tense right now.
Is it right downtown or is it by the airport?
I actually am not sure where the conference is being held. I got my RSVP into them that I'm coming, but I didn't get the actual address. I think they're just withholding everything because they don't want people to know, because it's this very secretive thing. So I've asked, I'm like, I'm flying out. I kind of need to know where we're going to be. So hopefully I'll get a confirmation email while I'm in flight tomorrow during the day. Other people are already there. So, and I have had some nice invitations by friends, people I haven't met before that have been in the community for a long time. So there is going to be a good cross section of people there because I've had some outreach from folks to get together.
The minute you announce David Grush coming to speak at your event, you know that people are going to show up and you're going to pack the house.
Yes. I wonder what media will be there. I'll try to tune into that and see who's there and what outlets are covering it so I can share that with you.
Yeah. Yes. No, I appreciate that. Are you, how long are you in San Francisco for?
It's a real turn and burn. I'm there for the conference for Friday and Saturday, and then I leave on Sunday to get back to the East Coast. So it's only going to be really for the conference only. And then, of course, getting back to the East Coast. What's that?
How much longer are you on the East Coast for?
For a while. I mean, I have to deal with family stuff and all my mom's stuff because she just moved down to my sister. So as long as that's going to take, getting everything taken care of. So I'm thinking probably until mid-December, and hopefully I can head back home. But at that time, I'm kind of putting mid-December out there.
And where in Alaska are you?
Anchorage.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, in the big city. But I'm out of town by like 10 miles south as you're heading out of town. So it gets real wildernessy out there. So I'm kind of on the last stop before you go down to Girdwood and all that, which is...
You get a lot of grizzly bears?
Yes. Yeah, I had a grizzly bear in my backyard one time, and she had 2 cubs with her. And so I went out to look at her, and she stood up. She actually stood up and did the standing bear thing, and the hair on the back of my neck stood up. It was very intense. It's one of the most intense animal encounters I've ever had with a mama grizzly.
Yeah.
She was pissed. She was like, "Do not step to me." I was like, "Okay." I backed into the house slowly. I'm thinking, thank God she can't climb. And then somebody said, "They absolutely can climb. They climb trees." So luckily she didn't want to eat me. It was scary.
Oh, yeah. People don't understand how big they are.
She was huge, and she had this big golden streak all down her back from all the sun that she had gotten that summer.
Nice.
She was beautiful. And when she stood up, I was like, all the hair stood up. You could tell it was like a primal mom thing. It was the mama bear. It was the cliche. It was the mama bear, attack mode.
Oh, I could totally see that. I've only ran into one grizzly bear here, and it was a mama and her cubs. I was driving in a vehicle, and she was right by the access road to the trail she was on, and she stood up, and then by the time we pulled up, her and her babies were running, and all hell broke loose.
Yeah, I've been really close to a mom and 2 black bears. I was just walking. I walk a lot, by my house, and 2 cubs came out, and I had 2 little pups with me walking them, and I was like, "Oh my God, run!" Because they were interested. They didn't know what was going on. The pups were like, "Oh, this is going to be fun playing with these other puppies," and I was like, "Oh, hell to the no, run!" So we ran, like the last mile to get back to the house, because anytime babies are involved.
Oh yeah. No, very true. You never want to piss off a bear and his babies.
No, I mean that's classic. No
Right.
bear with babies. That'll get you killed. I mean, and when I lived in Montana, I worked as a waitress when I was putting myself through college, and people would always come in for breakfast at the little truck stop diner there and say another person was killed, up in the park, up at Glacier, because they would camp up in Glacier and get killed. Every year somebody would get killed in Glacier. And so I know that that's a very real threat, a real situation. And so you have to know how to be in the woods and be protective.
Oh, that you do. That
Yeah.
you do. The last thing you want to do is run into one of them big hairy bastards.
Well, I have a friend, and she guides in Montana. She's a guide. She takes people up into the Paradise Valley and does guiding. And she told me a couple years ago that when they go up and
chats, we very really.
Yeah, when she does hunting, that the bears are on the scene. Like if they shoot an elk or they shoot a mule deer, the bears are there like within a half hour. So you have to carry a 45.
Right. We want to see you all and
Try and bring you. I'm Dave Scott. Our website.
hit subscribe. In Reno, Nevada, tickets are on sale. There we go. Just want to make sure I got it all. Regarding the UFO side of things, do you see government finally coming in Reno? In Reno. Do you finally see governments coming together regarding UFOs?
Yeah, well, I think they're going to have to around the war. I think that's going to be how the coming together is going to be forced, is because of the war, because of the defense, with the, U.S. Central Command. They're going to have to disclose some of their tech in the war between, the Middle East, because that's going to escalate, and there's going to be more conflict and more tensions. And the U.S. is there. They just shot down that missile area from the Iranian-backed. I sent that to you in Syria. So they're there, and they're doing reconnaissance, and so they are probably using next-gen tech. So I think they are going to have to come together, and the U.S. is going to have to throw out some information so that they don't get shot down. Don't you?
I'm just editing. Sorry, I got caught up editing here. I think you're right. I do think you're right in regards to that. I mean, but this goes back to what you and I talked about the other night too, is we as a public deserve to know the difference between a UAP and a UFO.
I agree. And that's coming up all the time now. It's coming up now that I'm, thinking along those lines. I'm seeing it in the print. I'm seeing it in the media. I'm seeing it in these conferences where they're talking about UFO versus UAP. You see this shift over to UAP, but as you brought up, that subtlety is very real.
I would agree with you on that.
Yeah, well, you're the one that pointed it out. I'm just like, yeah, that's an issue. It's a serious issue.
How many hours a day do you spend on the phone talking this subject?
Oh my God, I spend hours talking to people. Hours in the day. Literally hours. I'm not underestimating. I've tracked it at times, and I'm just like, wow, this is so much time. Not only talking to people, but also doing reading and research. Now, I wasn't doing that so much with the videos. I used to just watch a lot of videos of whatever was coming out before 2017. And even after 2017, during the Lou disclosure era, I was watching anything that he would put out. And then I think it was probably about a year ago, I wasn't watching as much because I felt like there was a little bit of a stalemate. But now there does seem to be new relevant information coming out. So I'm back watching videos a little bit more than I used to.
Courtney, with everything that you have learned on the governmental side of the UFO story, at what point have you kind of taken that time to sit back, relax, take it all in, and say, my God, I can't believe all of this is real? And then taken that and compared it to what you've experienced.
Yeah, well, my own experience is what led me into all this. You know, I wasn't at all at all in the community. And so it was my own experience that prompted me to look into things. And now I'm just looking back going, oh my God. First of all, I can't believe that I've been in this for so long already. It's almost been just a decade. And that's a short amount of time compared to other lifelong UFO people and researchers who've been in the community. I'm just a young gun. But I'm just, it's like The Exorcist with the head going around. Really, that's what it feels like to me, especially going to, to the Soul Foundation's thing this weekend. I'm just like, I don't even know how I got in the room, but I'm grateful for it. I'm really grateful to be in the room and to provide reporting on what's going on and sharing with people, because I feel like what has happened to me in my own elevation is to make things accessible for people who can't be, present, is to make things accessible and information accessible. But meanwhile, by my own pickups, when I have a pickup and I'm like, oh, aha, I share those. And so I have found a special place in the UFO community with my intuitive insights, but it's not just intuitive. I do a lot of gathering of reports and information, kind of sifting and ciphering through it. So I like my place. I'm happy about it.
Okay, one final question for you before we're going to say goodnight here. And that is, you're doing so awesome for us. I do have to ask, has anybody without naming names, anybody within the community saying, Courtney, heard you on Spaced Out. You're doing awesome on there, man.
Oh, yes. Oh, yes. I've heard from so many people saying, oh my God, I didn't know you were going to be on Spaced Out Radio. I heard you. You did an excellent job. I've received like 5 or 6 direct communications, email and instant messages that they've loved hearing the UFO report on Spaced Out Radio. So I'm excited because I got a lot of positive feedback. It's been really nice.
Love it. You have a safe travel later on.
Oh, it's right away. I'm actually leaving right now to go down there because I have a 3-hour drive to Philadelphia. So thank you, because I'm going to need a lot of coffee.
And I appreciate you taking time for us. We will talk to you on Friday night from San Francisco.
Let's hope we get a lot of great information to share on the Spaced Out Radio news cycle.
Yeah. Well, I may bring you in a little bit. If there's a lot, I may bring you in a little bit earlier, right off the top of the show, just to give us the updates.
I will send you notes. I'll stay tuned. Okay. So I'll send you notes when I hit the West Coast.
All right.
All right.
Good night, Courtney.
Good night.
Of you, including Sweet Robbie B or Robbie G, thank you for coming on in tonight. Very much appreciate it. Tomorrow night on the show, Aji Nost is going to come in and talk some serious woo about time travel. Thank you tonight to Louie with a hat trick, Toe Tag and Jenny with the super chats, and thank you for signing up and hitting subscribe. We'll talk to you guys soon.
healthy, my friend.
You too.
If you need bail money, give me a call.
Always, Dad. Take care.
You too.